All right, we should be good. We should be live. Hopefully. Hopefully. Let me drag this over here and drag this over here. My channel. Are we good? Okay, not live yet. Oh, we are live. Perfect. Very nice. What is going on? A very different stream for today. I figured let's swap things up. Let's go ahead and watch the presidential debate. Now, go theater mode. Yeah, this is fine. I usually try not. I mean, we're gonna listen to the debate in a second. We'll actually turn it on. I typically don't talk about politics on my streams, but I figured this is kind of like a pretty monumental moment in our country's history. Or if you don't live in the country, you may be like, "Hey, I want to watch this. This might be funny." Either way, I'm gonna go ahead and unmute. I will say this before I unmute. I think the thing about this debate is Donald Trump will not win this debate unless he can actually articulate policy positions and articulate himself decently well. If he just kind of keeps throwing out like the Kamala Harris is a communist and that kind of stuff, I think he's gonna lose. Again, I think he's already done that kind of stuff, so I'm hoping that we get a little bit more actual debate when I unmute.
To our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country.
Okay, I can already tell, not good for Trump. He's not coming in with any statistics. He's just saying millions and millions of people coming into the country. Not looking good. You kind of just you gotta actually bring in some facts, some knowledge, make me care about what you're saying.
Of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I want people to know I don't give a shit about how big his crowds are. I give a shit about, are my taxes going up next year? Are my family's taxes going up? Am I going to be spending more on things that are being imported into the country? Is my country going to be safer than it was this year?
ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused within the immigrant community.
Dude, he's getting fact-checked live.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe
no, you can't say that, dude. Okay, again, this is what I'm saying. If you come in unbiased, you have to be able to say, if Trump comes in here and he articulates his policy positions and they make sense and they sound good, you can understand why people would want to support him. He's just coming in and saying, people on TV are saying they're stealing my dog and eating it.
I think one of the reasons why in this
fucking what?
I actually have
what?
Endorsement of 200 Republicans who have formerly worked with President Bush, Mitt Romney, and John McCain.
I don't give a shit about this either, Kamala. Again, I don't like this whole like schoolyard like these people support me. You should like me. No, I don't give a shit about that.
The inside track on
I give a shit about the policies. Come on.
President is, if he didn't make it clear already, just ask people who have worked with him. His former
that is kind of true though, the fact that a lot of Republicans don't like him. That is worrying. That is very worrying for him, the fact that people consistently are turning against him as soon as they're out of his inner circle.
Has said the nation, the republic, would never survive another.
But then again, the Democrats are constantly going at each other's necks. So it's like you can't really base this as a win off of what she's saying, because the Democrats are also not great at backing one another.
President Trump, I'll give you a quick minute to respond.
Bernie Sanders is the perfect example of the fact that he puts forward good policies, and all you hear from other Democrats is that he sucks. And they tried to say he was a misogynist at one point.
Or a bad job. I fired him. They never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the Taliban and the 13 people.
But also he did that.
were just killed.
Donald Trump was the one who set in
violently
motion
killed, and I got to know the parents and
the
family.
backing out of
They didn't
Afghanistan.
fire-
There was
they
nothing.
fired all
There
those
was no way
generals, all
Joe
those
Biden could have
people,
actually
because that was one of the most
done any better.
incompetently
I
handled
hate to.
situations
I also
anybody
don't like Joe
has
Biden.
ever
I think
seen.
Joe Biden
So when somebody
is way
does a
too old to
bad
be
job,
here.
I fire him. And you take a guy like Esper. He was
And he's doing the he's doing the you're fired.
Another one writes a book, because with me they can write books. With nobody else can they? But they,
Wait, did he just say nobody can write books
anybody.
except
Look at
about
the
him?
economy. Look at the inflation. They didn't fire.
I mean, shit, I don't have a book in here. Maybe he's right.
That's a good way not to have.
Maybe
books
he's
written
right.
about
We can't
you.
write books
But
about
just
anybody.
to finish, I got more votes than any Republican in history by far. In fact, I
Is
got
that
more
true?
votes than any sitting president in history by far.
Not true.
Let me continue
Not
on
true.
immigration. It was what you wanted to talk about earlier. So
But
let's get
also,
back
I
to
don't really care.
deportation,
What are your policies?
that the vice president has reacted to as well. President Trump, you
If we're gonna say who's winning this debate by who looks the best, I gotta say
you say you would use the
the
national
moderator's
police
looking pretty good.
that
He's kind of handsome.
no
I think he
problem
might be winning
with
this one.
military.
Police, yes.
You also said you would use local police. How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number is much higher. Take us through this. What does this look like? Will authorities be going door to door in this country?
Yeah, it is much higher.
Door
because of
to
them.
door.
They allowed criminals, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed.
Okay, we're gonna listen to
common
what they're gonna
street
say.
Criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers to come into our country, and they're now in the United States and told by their countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you.
I just realized I have a pause feature, which is great. So he's saying they're gonna go door to door and look for people, but how are you gonna choose what doors you're gonna go to? Are you gonna go into every single person in America's homes, or are you just gonna go into people that look like they could potentially be illegal immigrants? That's another issue. And again, you're trampling on people's rights. I believe that's Fourth Amendment. I could be wrong. But if your policies are going against the Constitution, I feel like Republicans don't like that usually.
Do you know that crime in Venezuela and crime in
I don't give a shit about Venezuela. I give a shit about the U.S. That's another thing. We gotta stick on that. I don't care about Venezuela. Talk about the United States.
countries all over the world is way down. You know why? Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to put into our country.
Like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? He's saying every country in the world is sending their criminals to the U.S. Like, he's making it sound like I have someone off camera pointing a gun at me. Like, oh my god.
Country.
Come
And
on, man.
this
Talk
will be one of the
policy!
greatest
That's all you have to
mistakes in
do!
history for them to allow, and I think they
This
probably
rhetoric
did it
is what's
'cause they
gonna
think they
lose
can
him
get
the
votes,
election,
but
man.
It's not worth it because
If you just talk
destroying the
policy and you
fabric
speak
of our country
facts,
by what they've done. There's
it's
never
very
been
hard.
anything
It's
done
very
like
hard for
this
people
at
to
all.
argue
They've
with it. People can
destroyed the
argue all day
fabric
when
of
you're
our
talking about
country.
Venezuela.
Millions of people let in, and all over the world.
But also, I don't
crime
think
is
he's ever
down
actually
all over the world
focused on
except
facts
here.
ever in his
Crime
life.
here is up
That's
and
the
through
issue.
the
That's the
roof,
issue with Donald
despite
Trump.
their
Again,
fraudulent
unbiased.
statements that they
Unbiased
make.
news here.
Crime in this country is through the roof, and we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime, and it's happening at levels.
not a
that
new form
nobody
of crime.
thought possible.
President Trump,
That's-
as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But Vice
Excuse me,
President
the
Harris, I'll
FBI
give you the-
they were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst.
Okay, so we can't listen to the FBI. We found that out. Guys, FBI, not a good source, according to Donald Trump. Who else is not a good source? Let's hear it.
Cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud, just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
President Trump, thank you. I'll let you respond, Vice President Harris.
Well, I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Again, you gotta pot calling the kettle black, saying that the FBI is defrauding the U.S. people. You know, who else has been defrauding the U.S. people? I'm not gonna say names because I'm unbiased here.
For national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing. And let's be clear, where each person stands
let me be
on
clear.
the issue of what is important about respect for the rule of law and respect for law enforcement. The former vice president called for defunding
ACAB.
federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents, get this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk about what
Nobody talks about the fact that Donald Trump actually supports ACAB.
is important in this race. It is important that we move forward, that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric and address the needs of the American people, address what we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan for, address what we must do to support our small businesses, address bringing down the price of groceries. But
I like
frankly,
this.
the American people are exhausted with this same old tired playbook.
I think that's actually pretty good.
Excuse me.
That was a pretty
Every
good
one
statement.
of those cases was started by them against their political opponent, and I'm winning most of them, and I will win the rest on appeal.
Man, I love the fact that she's pointing out they're like she's not addressing it, but she's at least acknowledging that the everyday American is going through major financial woes. That's fantastic. That's great. You want to hear them talk about that more. That is what will win either of them the election. The fact that Trump immediately turns that and says that it's the opposition party coming after him. You sure about that, bud? Are you sure about that one? You really want to go with that? Okay.
And you saw that with the decision that came down just recently from the Supreme Court. I'm winning most of them. But those are cases, it's called weaponization. Never happened in this country. They weaponized the Justice Department. Every one of those cases was involved with the DOJ, from Atlanta and Fani Willis to the Attorney General of New York and the DA in New York. Every one of those cases. And then they say, oh, he's a criminal. They're the ones that made them go after me. By the way, Joe Biden was found essentially guilty on the documents case. And
essentially guilty. So Joe Biden, I think, actually did take documents, but I think the big difference between what he did and what Donald Trump did was Donald Trump kept those documents and tried to hide those documents and hide the fact that he had those documents. Joe Biden, I am nearly sure that he immediately gave them back. So again, it's not a one-for-one comparison, but I mean, I don't know. I think this is really dumb to talk about. I don't think we need to get into the nitty-gritty of why the U.S. government is going after you. I think you just need to focus on how you're going to help the American people.
what happened in my documents
James,
case?
hello.
They said, well, that's the
How you
toughest
doing,
of
man?
them all. A complete and total victory. 2 months ago, it was thrown out. It's weaponization, and they used it, and it's never happened in this country. They used it to try and win an election.
President
They're
Trump.
fake cases.
President Trump.
Again, I think what really is losing Trump like a lot of steam and losing him a lot of support is that it's just me, I constantly. Woe is me. The Democrats are after me. And there's so many people that are waking up every day and going, wait a minute. Why is it all about him? Why is it all about him? And so there are some people that wake up and go, yeah, you know what? And I see myself in him. And that's why some people, stick with him. But I think the reason that Kamala Harris is gaining support is because she constantly is acknowledging that there's an issue in the country and saying that she is putting out her plans on how she will attempt to fix them, which I think is better than just ignoring the problems in their entirety.
Trump, thank you. A really quick response here, Vice President Harris, on this notion of weaponization of the Justice Department.
Well, let's talk about extreme and understand the context in which this election is.
Who are you voting for? At the moment, it looks like Kamala Harris. I mean, just based on tax plan alone, if I'm having a few $1,000 increase because Donald Trump gets in office, I'm not voting for him. It looks more like Kamala Harris is gonna be the person I vote for. I voted for Joe Biden because, again, I don't think Joe Biden's had the worst presidency. I don't think he's had a spectacular one. It's been a boring presidency. and inflation has gone up. But most of the time, inflation going up has been the cause, or the cause of the inflation has been Trump policies that he put in. Can't vote, but my vote would go for Kamala mainly for climate stuff. That is another very incredible point that I hope they hit on tonight. Because again, it's like if you can get Donald Trump to say that climate change isn't real tonight, I think he's just done. I think his campaign is just over. They gotta cut it.
In 2024 is taking place. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again. Understand, this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution.
I actually do think Trump is cooked. You can't articulate a single policy that would help out the American people because he doesn't want to put any forward. He actually doesn't have a policy that's going to help Americans. He has policies that are literally going to drop taxes for the top 1%, and that's it. And if he says that, he's actually like full on cooked. He's going to have his supporters still, but I don't think there's a path for him to win unless he actually puts forward a policy that is coherent.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat.
That's the first time I've heard him mention getting shot. Bro, I would have thought that would have been his main talking point if he was saying me.
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign says you don't.
Yeah, those things are really hard to get past. I think that's the issue. Like, everyone wants to say they want a cleaner climate and to get rid of fracking. But the way forward is much more nuanced than just getting rid of it. You have to actually like figure out alternatives that are not going to cost massive amounts of American jobs. I think that's the biggest issue. That's why they're all of a sudden saying, actually, we can't get rid of fracking because it's going to absolutely like decimate that job sector, and that's a big voting base. The assault rifle ban, the buybacks, I think is a good policy, but that's a personal preference.
You supported decriminalizing
Russia.
crossings. Now you're taking a harder line. I know you say that your values have
again, I don't think they need to talk about the tenant media thing, but that is wild going into this, thinking about that as well.
Discuss at least every point that you've made, but in particular, let's talk about fracking because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States, and in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking. My position...
Which, again, it's such a nuanced topic, fracking. Because, again, you want to say you want to get rid of fracking, but, like, because obviously it's horrible for the climate. Natural gas in general, it's just, like, we should be moving away from it. We're just not at a point in the country, and there's so many people that cannot get that through their head that moving to safer alternatives is the way forward for the planet, not just the country, it's the whole planet. So until like the voter base is actually educated on that, you just can't say that you're going to come out and ban fracking, especially if they're debating in Pennsylvania.
Is that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on oil. We have
Bang!
the largest
Oh my God, she's cooking! Yes!
History.
Yes!
An approach that recognizes
I love that. I love that.
Foreign oil. As
yes.
it relates to my values,
yes.
let me tell you, I grew up a middle-class kid raised by a hardworking mother who worked and saved. And
yeah, you just can't get rid of it with no alternatives. Because then you become
of home ownership, knowing not everybody got
you have to import at that point, which you're just losing money.
And then file bankruptcy 6 times is a value that I bring to my work to say we are going to work with the private sector and home builders to increase 3 million homes, increase by 3 million homes by the end of my first term. My work,
dude. This is the big difference. And look at his fucking face. Look at his face, because I don't think there's a single thought going on in there aside from, God, I cannot wait to go home. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. Never mind. There was thoughts in my head that were not good right there. Unbiased, by the way. Unbiased. Um no, again, it's as for the planet in general, we do need to look at energy sources that are renewable or cleaner. That is the big issue. And if we could find some that also cut costs, that would be incredible. But I don't know of any in the immediate future that would work. Um, and the fact that she's immediately transitioning from not banning fracking to save American, to help the American economy, and also talking about building more homes so that more Americans can buy homes at lower prices is incredible. I like that she's addressing real issues to America. That's what I like. I don't like that Trump is constantly this me, woe is me type of thing.
That is related to having a friend when I was in high school who was sexually assaulted by her stepfather. And my focus then on protecting women and children from violent crime is based on a value that is deeply grounded in the importance of standing up for those who are most vulnerable. My work that
I
is
can
about
respect that.
protecting Social Security and Medicare is based
Yep,
on
important.
long-standing work that I have done, protecting seniors from scams.
Important
My
work.
values
I have to agree.
changed. And what is important is that there is a
If Trump can come back with a strong statement to this and articulate how he would like to offer alternatives to these situations, that is how he can get back into the conversation.
The true measure of the leader is the leader who actually understands the strength is not in beating people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
President Trump, your
Well,
response?
first of all, I wasn't
That's
given
a great statement.
$400 million. I wish I was. My father was a Brooklyn builder, Brooklyn, Queens, and a great father, and I learned a lot from him. But I was given a fraction of that, a tiny fraction, and I built it into many, many billions.
Okay. Again. You can be a nepotism baby, right? You can be a nepo baby. That's okay. As long as you can acknowledge that that puts you ahead of the normal American. The fact that he's trying to minimize the fact that his father gave him, at a minimum, $1 million to start his businesses is insane. Because again, if my dad gave me $1 million, I would also expect that I'd be able to be, self-sufficient. I don't think it would be that hard at that point if you have $1 million. Especially at the time that he got that $1 million. Due to inflation, it would probably be a lot more in today's age. So again, I think him minimizing how much his father gave him to start up his life. Again, I find it very hard to relate to him as a person. How's your brain still in activation mode? Are you Forerunner? I might be. It's like the Spark said. We are Forerunner.
Of dollars, many, many billions. And when people see it, they are even surprised. So we don't have to talk about that.
I don't think I'm
Fracking,
surprised.
she's been against it for 12 years. Defund the police. She's been against that forever.
Where is that coming from, though? Again, when Kamala went from fracking to building more houses, she's talking about building up the economy and building a better America for the next generation, which is very important for a presidential candidate. He immediately turns to Kamala doesn't like fracking, she's never liked fracking, and she hates the police. And it's like, whoa. Can you at least give us a source there? Give us a source on her saying that she hates the police? That she wants to defund the police? That she wants to ban fracking? Because I think she did say ban fracking at one point, but she's changed her policy. The same way that Donald Trump has changed his mind about the Republican Party in the past 20 years.
She gave all that stuff up very wrongly, very horribly, and everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. She gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like,
again, I think I'm okay with politicians being fallible and allowing their brains or allowing their policies to change depending on what is best for the country at that point. Like I said, fracking it still is important to the country. You can't just get rid of it. As much as we would like to say that they're let's just go clean energy. Let's just go right now. We can't. We can't. I don't like, again, I said he needs a strong statement. Very wrongly, very horribly. He just needed a strong statement after what she said because again, she's focusing. She is focusing on how her presidency is going to help the American people. Right now, he is focusing on how much he does not like Kamala Harris. And I think that is the big difference between the two.
She was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute, I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out.
Okay, come on, Trump. He's getting pissed.
That killed people, that burned down Minneapolis.
He's actually getting pissed. Like you can tell that she's like in the flow state right now. Like if this was Jujutsu Kaisen, she'd be ready to hit a black flash right now. And he right now, his cursed energy is all over the place. He can't do anything. Sorry, that's a little anime reference right there. Either way, Trump is struggling right now. Again, if he was just able to articulate how this ties into his policy positions, he'd be in a better spot. But he is absolutely on the back foot right now because he just cannot help himself but to be the victim.
She went out and raised money to get him out of jail. She did things that nobody would ever think of. Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. This is a
fucking what? Dude, we should have been playing bingo right now with the amount of right-wing talking points that were going to be used. Because again, like I think the way I view what he just said, a part of it, like transgender issues, is the way that I feel like we viewed like the gay debate 20 years ago. Obviously, I was a kid back then, so I've grown up in a very different time. But also, I grew up in a time where like saying slurs, like homophobic slurs in school, was like not a big deal. So I've grown up in a whole different different aspects of the LGBT movement, which is why I don't like I have a very positive view of the LGBT community. I have never really got why people care if someone's gay, lesbian, trans, whatever. I think the fact that he is harping on that is, again, it's very reductive for his thing. Why is he alienating yet another part of the American voter base? He needs all the votes he can get. And instead, he's saying that they're going to do transgender surgeries on illegal aliens that are actually criminals from Venezuela and everywhere else in the world because Kamala Harris wants to invite them all over for a birthday party. What are we talking about here?
A radical left liberal that would do this. She wants to confiscate your guns, and she will never allow fracking in Pennsylvania.
Except that she's allowing fracking in Pennsylvania, and she hasn't taken people's guns. I don't think he realizes this is another thing. I don't know if he knows that she is currently the vice president, and she does have a significant amount of power. Not as much power as the president, but she does have a significant amount. She actually has more power than probably any vice president in history, aside from the ones that took over for assassinated presidents. Because Joe Biden is more than likely in the equivalent of an ice cream coma at all times. He's unable to form sentences. He's unable to, probably walk on his own for the most part. Kamala Harris is more than likely running the show behind the scenes. I think the fact that he's saying that she will never allow fracking, like, brother, it's happening.
If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one. Just to finish one thing so important in my opinion. So I got the oil business going like nobody has ever done before.
I think he did actually.
They got rid of it, started getting rid of it.
I don't know.
Prices were going up the roof. They immediately
Up the
let
roof.
these guys go to where they were. I would have been 5 times, 4 times, 5 times higher, because you're talking about 3.5 years ago. They got it up to where I was because they had no choice, because the price.
I'm not joking. I'm very lost on what he's saying right here. Is he saying that the gas prices are really bad or really good right now? Is he saying that they cheated to get gas prices up, or is he saying that their gas prices are, or get their gas prices down? Is he saying that they cheated, or is he saying that the gas prices are bad? I don't know. I actually don't know. That's very confusing to me.
Prices of energy were quadrupling and doubling. You saw what happened to gasoline. So they said, let's go back to Trump. But if she won the election, the day after that election, they'll go back to destroying our country, and oil will be dead, fossil fuel will be dead. We'll go back to windmills, and we'll go back to solar.
I mean, like, again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but this is not like policy positions. This is like he's literally only fear mongering and saying that they're gonna get rid of all the things that like all fossil fuels. That just isn't a policy position. That's never been one. I wish he would go after their policy positions, but he's not. I don't think he knows them, and that's a big issue. If you want to become president, you should be able to know what your opposition's policies are and find a way to poke holes in them. Kind of like what Kamala Harris, I mean, I'm hoping is going to do to him. I missed the first, 20 minutes of the debate, 30 minutes of the debates. That's on me. I might have missed stuff. But the fact that his policy positions are as bad as they are, I would hope that they have poked holes in them. Again, unbiased reporting. I want that on the record.
Where they need a whole desert to get
With
some
oil,
energy
bring
to
it
come
back
out.
next
You ever see a
time.
solar
No,
plant?
man.
By the way, I'm a big fan of solar, but they take
Didn't he just say you don't like solar?
400, 500 acres of desert
President
soil.
Trump, we have a
These
lot
are
of
not good
issues
things
that we
for the
have to get
environment
to.
that
We're
she
out of time.
understands.
Thank you.
Lindsay, thank you. We have an election in just 50
I would
days.
love if we got to a point
I
where
wanna
we
talk
could
about the
do
peaceful
like actual
transfer of
clean
power,
energy.
which, of course, we all know is a cornerstone of our
But
democracy.
we
and the role
need
of the
oil
president,
still,
in a
unfortunately.
moment
We
of
do need it.
crisis.
It's
Mr.
a
President,
necessity.
On January 6th, you
You
told
know?
your supporters to march to the Capitol. You
But I
said
think
you
to
would
say
be
that
right
the
there with
Democrats are,
the country
if
is
they
in
win,
war,
they're
so
gonna
we're
get rid of
looking at
oil.
the
It's like,
daily
brother, come on.
officers coming under attack.
Go after
Aides
them
in
for
the West
something
Wing say
real.
you watched it
There's
unfold on
absolutely things
television
you can
while
go
in
after
your
the Democrats
office.
for.
You did send out tweets, but it was more than 2 hours before you sent out that video message telling your supporters to go home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered. Peacefully and patriotically, I said during my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer.
Man, we have footage of that, man. We have footage. We saw that they were breaking a window into a corridor with Congress people in it, man. We saw that. And we saw the fact that he gave her warnings not to go through. It's the same. Here's the thing. All these actually, all these like gun loving people, someone trespassed, got shot, and all of a sudden it's a crazy police officer that did it. What happened to Back the Blue, man? What happened to, I love all guns. Let's not do assault rifle bans. Let's not do weapon bans. Again, it's very hypocritical. It's very hypocritical to say that the police officer is crazy on this one for shooting someone who's actively trespassing in a government building, going after Congress people. But then, 30 seconds earlier saying that Kamala Harris hates all police officers and wants to ban guns. I don't know. It feels hypocritical to me. I don't know what you feel.
That should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace. But we didn't do this group of people that have been treated so badly. I ask, What about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to pour in? She was the border czar. Remember that. She was the border czar.
Border
She
czar.
doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, "Oh, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet." That's because she knows what a bad job they've done. What about those people? When are they going to be prosecuted? When are these people from countries all over the world, not just South America? They're coming in from all over the world, David, all over the world, and crime rates are down all over the world because of it.
But let me just
when
ask
are those, David?
Again, what are we talking about here, man? What are we talking about? Like, it's easily fact checked that crime is actually going down in the US. That's an easy fact check. And again, it's like, why do we care about what's going on all around the world? Talk about US policies. How are you going to make the country better? At this point, I don't care if you say dumb shit about your policies, just talk about policies. I hate that we're 2024 and we're still yelling about the fact that the Democrats are the devil and I'm the only one that can save you. Exactly, James. He's saying crime rates are down all over the world, man. It's like, it's because the criminals are being sent here. Like I said, if I had a guy pointing a gun at me, I'll turn the camera. I'll turn the camera over here. Don't mind the mess. Don't mind the mess. Look at. There's nobody in my room. There's nobody in my office. There's nobody pointing a gun at me off screen. Like, crime is not a big fucking issue in this country. I hate to break it. I hope I didn't just point that, like, at my dick. Okay, we're good. I did point it at my dick a little bit. So that's fine.
Those people are going to be prosecuted. When are the people that burned down Minneapolis going to be prosecuted? Or in Seattle?
Minneapolis is not burned down.
Seattle, they took over a big percentage of the city of Seattle. When are those people going to be prosecuted?
But let me just ask
you. You might ask her that question.
You were the president. You were watching it unfold on television. It's a very simple question as we move forward toward another election.
He also, yeah, he never
regret about what you did on that day.
He never answered.
Yes, sir.
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C., and the mayor put it back in writing, as you know. I said, this is going to be a very big rally or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by me. It was done by others. I said, I'd like to give you 10,000 National Guard or soldiers. They rejected me. Nancy Pelosi rejected me. It was just 2 weeks ago. Her daughter.
Okay, if that's actually true, that is pretty crazy. But I just we would probably need verification of that. I'm willing, you know what, with all the things that are not going his way, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one and say maybe he actually did go to them and say that they would want National Guard for it, and they said no. Maybe. I personally don't know. But that would be crazy.
Daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened. They want to get rid of that tape. It would have never happened.
Is that actually a thing? But also, why do we, again, why are we talking about Hunter Biden? Why are we talking about Nancy Pelosi's daughter? These things just don't matter to the American people. They don't. I don't understand. Nancy Pelosi rejected me. Look, I just need whoever is running Nancy Pelosi's public trading portfolio. I want to get a camera in their room at all times so I can start investing smartly.
Happened if Nancy Pelosi and
Smartly?
the mayor of Washington did their jobs.
Whatever.
I wasn't responsible for security. Nancy Pelosi
He is, though.
was responsible. She didn't
He is
do
the
her job.
president.
The question was about you
Or
as
was.
president, not about former Speaker Pelosi. But I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the President of the United States incited a violent mob to attack
He did.
our nation's
I don't think
capital.
this is controversial to say. I think I can still be unbiased and say that he did cause January 6th.
Were injured, and some died. and understand.
Yeah, wait, also, that is absolutely wait, dude, he is so cooked. He is so cooked. He cannot be back the blue. He cannot have the back the blue people when at the same time he said nobody on their side died on January 6th, but Ashley Babbitt did. It's like, bro, didn't like 4 or 5 cops die because of what happened on January 6th? Am I misremembering that? Was it lower? I know there was one day of, and then like I think there was like 2 or 3 the day after, and then one more took his life. Like, brother. Again, like it's very inconsistent with Donald Trump. And I'm unbiased, of course. I'm unbiased, but it's not looking good. It's looking like he might actually full on be cooked. And this look right here, like he's not looking good. She's not looking good either on this freeze frame, but like she's kind of hitting the Giga Chad pose. She's kind of hitting that like it looks like what you would tell your grandmother like what the Giga Chad pose is, and she would try and do it. That is exactly what this looks like, which is not good. That's a little cringe. But I digress.
Former president has been indicted and impeached for exactly that reason.
Yeah.
But this is not an isolated situation. Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches,
Yes.
spewing anti-Semitic hate.
So again, while these things are absolutely not good, you absolutely do not want white supremacists marching on cities. I don't think this is what we need to be talking about in the presidential debate. Especially, again, she was doing so well with keeping it on track and talking policy, which is what I really liked. I think we're getting off topic here now. She's stooping to Trump's level a little bit, and I don't like that. This is where Trump actually might be able to come back. Again, if he comes out with a strong statement after this about how he would help the American people by becoming president, that is a way for him to actually garner a little bit of favor. But I just don't think he's going to be able to, because I don't think he can get his own head out of his ass for long enough to have a coherent thought at any point.
And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. Let's remember that when it
I
came
think
to the
everybody
Trump
knows
was a
this about him
militia.
by now, though. I think everybody does.
The president said, the former
We don't need to
president
talk
said,
about this
stand
anymore.
back and stand by.
Everybody knows
So
this.
for everyone
And again,
watching
I'm
who
unbiased,
remembers
but
what
that was
January 6th
absolutely
was,
fucking
I
insane.
say we don't have to go back. Let's not go back. We're not going back. It's time to turn the page. And if that was a bridge too far for you, well, there is a place in our campaign for you to stand for country, to stand for our democracy, to stand for rule of law, and to end the chaos, and to end the approach that is about attacking.
Here's the thing. While I understand why she's making this statement, this is not the end of, Trump's presidential bids. I think this dude, even if he loses, he's going to keep running for president and keep having, sizable sizable numbers of voters for the rest of his life, unless he actually gets convicted and sentenced to jail for the crimes. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's probably going to get sentenced to like house arrest or pay a fine or something. In which case, for the rest of his life, he is just going to keep doing this same thing, saying the Democrats are after you, and he's going to do it after every single negative thing that happens. Anytime there's a tragedy, anytime there's something like that, he's gonna keep doing this. Maybe it won't be Trump, but I think there's going to be a Trump figure for the Republican Party if they lose this. I don't see him running again. He already has less energy from his presidential years. Yeah, you are kind of right. I don't know. I think it's more that he just actually doesn't know what else to do at this point. Like we've already seen that he's like his monetary value was not exactly what he said it was. He might have embellished a little bit of how much money he actually had, And his Truth Social thing, like that sold for like a ton of money. So I think he actually made a decent amount from that and was able to pay off some of the fines that he already had to do. But like he's making a lot of fucking money from doing this. And as well as his family are all making a ton of money from this. Like his kids and like anyone adjacent to him is making a lot of money from doing this kind of right wing grift. So while I do actually agree with you that dude, his energy and his his popularity are like down significantly just from 2020. I could absolutely see him running every single 4 years until he dies. And at which point, more than likely, Donald Trump Jr. will probably do it, but he's going to be like significantly less popular and like actually gain like probably like at most 10,000 votes per election.
The foundations of our democracy because you don't like the outcome. And be clear on that point. Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking.
Okay, this is one of the things that actually, if you're not going to talk policies, this is a great point to bring up. Because you have to acknowledge that there is no way a presidential candidate should be making anything close to a statement like that. Anything close to a statement that would even remotely incite any amount of violence. And right now, he would have a very, very simple win if he came out and said, no, that absolutely is not going to be a thing. If I were to lose this election, I would call on all of my voters to respect the rule of law and throw their support behind whoever wins to ensure that our country moves on peacefully for the next 4 years, at which point we can try again and hope that, things go better in our team. That is absolutely not going to happen, though. What he's going to do instead is he's going to say, wrong, I never said that. Actually, it's the Democrats that wanted me dead. The Democrats tried to shoot me. They hit my ear. My ear is fully healed now. That's what's going to happen. If he brings up the assassination attempt, I want 25 gifted subs over on Twitch.
And not go backwards to the past.
I will absolutely always respect the rule of law.
It was a different term, and it was a
unless
term
it's jaywalking
related to energy because they have destroyed our energy business. That was where bloodbath was. Also, on Charlottesville, that story has been, as you would say, debunked. Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, Jess.
Okay, he's naming right-wing pundits. This is not good. Is he going to say that they all said that he actually didn't say that? Because he did say that. He did say that there were good people on both sides.
All of these people, they covered it. If they go an extra sentence, they will see it was perfect. It was debunked in almost every newspaper, but they still bring it up.
So what did he say then? Why are you saying it's debunked, but then not saying what you actually said? Like, you would think that that would be the way to prove, I guess. I'm streaming. Yeah, I have a camera. It's fine. What? Do you want to watch the debate with me? Come watch the debate.
Just like they bring 2025 up. They bring all of this stuff up. I ask you this. You talk about the Capitol. Why are we allowing these millions of people to come through on the southern border? How come she's not doing anything? And I'll tell you what.
Dude, he brought up the border again? How did we get... Wait, hang on. I was distracted. How did we get to the border? We went from Charlottesville to the border without him actually debunking what she said? He just said it was debunked? Also, for those of you that don't know, that was my dad. My dad wanted to come down and play video games behind me. I'm very... dude, I have a lot of stage fright, if you guys didn't know. I have a lot of problems with talking in front of people. Despite the fact that I want to do acting, I actually want to be a voice actor, number one. Voice acting would be incredible. I can't do theater stuff. Extra bird guess. Yeah, my dad apparently he didn't want to watch the debate with me. He wanted to come down and play video games. I get really anxious when there are people here. I don't know. That's why I always worry, like, if streaming were to take off. I'm like, I don't know if I'd be able to talk to, like, if I even had like 100 people in chat. Like, I think I would really struggle. I think I would really struggle with talking to a lot of people. Anyway, let's get back to this. I'm how did we get here? How did we get here?
What I would do, and I would be very proud to do it, I would say we would both leave this debate right now. I'd like to see her go down to Washington, D.C. during this debate because we're wasting a lot of time. Go down to, because she's been so bad, it's so ridiculous. Go down to Washington, D.C.
Come on, man. Come on, man. You gotta stop with like these random personal attacks, bro. Like again, like you don't like them. That's fine, but like damn, brother.
D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills.
Again, you can't just close the border, right? You do great. Thank you, man. Thank you, James. So you can't close the border, right? That just isn't feasible to do because you're not talking about closing all borders, right? You know, you don't hear about illegal immigration from Canada, but there is illegal immigration from Canada. Are we saying that criminals are coming from Canada? No, we're saying they're coming from Mexico. Again, if we're gonna be consistent, like if you're gonna say we want to close all borders, are we saying that, or are you just saying we have to close our entire Mexican border, not allow anybody from South America in? That's like a little bit crazy because again, you're kind of just saying you have to you can't allow anyone that isn't, it gets tricky. It gets tricky. It gets a little wacky, you might even say. Radon can close the border? Dude, Radon actually would, with one hit of one of his swords, would create a moat completely surrounding the United States. He would actually cut off both oceans on the sides, too. So the Atlantic and the Pacific, we would actually just have a giant hole between us, the oceans, Canada, and Mexico. And that's with one sword. With two, I would worry about what would happen to the planet.
They have the right to do it. The President of the United States, you'll get him out of bed, you'll wake him up at 4 o'clock.
That's not happening. Okay? I'm just saying. Joe Biden, like, you do not want to see what he looks like at 4 a.m. I don't want to see that. I think that might actually kill him. Don't say get him out of bed.
In the afternoon, you'll say, come on down to the office, let's sign a bill. If he signs a bill that the border is closed, all he has to do is say it to the Border Patrol, who are phenomenal. If they do that, the border is closed.
Mr.
Those
President,
people are killing many people, unlike J6.
We talked immigration here tonight. I do want to.
But people did die on January 6th. I think we've already established that. Like, multiple police officers died because of January 6th. And again, people are being charged with insurrection. People are actually going to jail for it. So this is not like an unfounded thing that happened, and it's like, oh, they're actually, they didn't do anything. It's like, no, like courts are finding that people actually like they did commit the crime. That did happen, and police officers died because of it. Again, for all that back the blue stuff. If you want to be of that position, if you want to be of that back the blue position, you cannot say at the same time that the police that were at the Capitol were the enemy then, right? That feels very disingenuous.
To both of you, because it really brings us this into focus, truth in these times that we're living in. Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won in a landslide. In the past couple of weeks
Said it
leading up
tonight.
to this debate, you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker, that you, quote, didn't quite make it, that you came up a little bit short.
I said that?
Are you now acknowledging
baby
that you
blues.
lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say that.
sarcastically.
But
You know
those-
that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically.
No, I like again, you just can't. Okay, here's the thing with old people, right? Here's the thing with politicians, because they go one and the same. Old people are politicians. There's the amount of young people in politics is so minuscule that I'm more than confident in just equating old person with politician. They don't understand that the internet is actually like the archive that it is. That you say something on camera, it is just there forever. There is no getting rid of some of the things that you say. Yes, there is possible ways to scrub some things from the internet, but like there is no way to get rid of everything that you've said, Donald Trump. People can legitimately just look it up very easily and see, yeah, this dude for the past 3 years has been saying that he actually won the election and that they stole the presidency from him. And he's not being hyperbolic. He's not, he's not being sarcastic. He is actually saying that and believing that. Or maybe not believing it, but he's saying it so that hopefully his fan base will believe it.
Look, there's so much proof. All you have to do is look at it. And they should have sent it back to the legislatures for approval. I got almost 75 million votes, the most votes any sitting president has ever gotten. I was told if I got 63, which was what I got in 2016, you can't be beaten. The election, people should never be thinking about an election as fraudulent. We need two things. We need walls. And we have to have
2020 seems like forever ago. It actually does.
And we have to have good elections. Our elections are bad. And a lot of these illegal.
Man, again, it's like, how do you, again, unbiased here. Unbiased reporting. Number one source in news for unbiased news. How do you go? How long are we into this? We're an hour. I feel like I've been sitting here listening to him the entire time just circle around the same talking points about how everything is against him, and that now he's saying that our elections are actually so bad. It's like, brother, I don't know if you know this, but we actually have our elections do actually have problems. I will admit that, but we have a very good electoral process, in my opinion. The issues that I would say we have are the what's it called? I'm blanking now. I'm actually blanking. I'm gonna take back what I said until I can think of it later on. Beautifully unbiased, the most unbiased.
Illegal immigrants coming in.
I can't think of the word that I need.
They can't even speak English. They don't even know.
And
what
it kind of just
country they're in
defeats the whole
practically.
purpose of my
And
statement. So
these
I'm gonna
people
just
are
not
trying
speak.
to get them to vote, and that's why they're allowing them to come into our country.
I did watch all of these pieces of video. I didn't detect the sarcasm. Lost by a whisker. We didn't quite make it. And we should just point out here as clarification, and you know this, you and your allies, 60 cases in front of many judges, many of them
No
Republican.
judge looked at it.
And said
They
there was
said
no
we didn't have
widespread fraud.
standing. That's the other thing. They said we didn't have standing, a technicality. Can you imagine?
Okay. They didn't have standing. That means that does he realize that means that that's not good for him? Like, if they said that they didn't have standing about the other side, then Trump could say that this doesn't affect him. Like, he was being sarcastic or whatever he wants to say about what he said before, but he's saying that he had no standing in court. Again, it's like, bro, why are you talking about this? You're making yourself look bad. I don't have any standing to comment on any of this. But I'll allow it. Allowed. Approved. I approve.
In a system where a person in an election doesn't have standing, the president of the United States doesn't have standing. That's how we lost. If you look at the facts, and I'd love to have you'll do a special on it. I'll show you Georgia, and I'll show you Wisconsin, and I'll show you Pennsylvania.
Dude, he needs to stop talking. Because the more that he brings this up, the more it's like you can start to ask questions about the 2024 election and the things that he did that were illegal during it. Bro, him calling the elections of official in Georgia and basically threatening them to find more votes for him. Like, bro, you can't do that. You know? That's not good for you. You're not looking very good. You're not like Mr. Trump, please, somebody get him some duct tape so he can stop himself from hurting himself. It hurts to watch at this point. It hurts to watch. It hurts to watch someone self-harm live on stream, and I don't want to do it anymore. I hope he is able to find some strength and stop himself from speaking.
And I'll show you, we have so many facts and statistics, but you know what? That doesn't matter because
it does matter. Bring the stats and statistics and facts and all of it. If you bring all of them, you can actually make a decent point, but you have none. It hurts to watch. He's being dumb. All places I've streamed from, that is true. That is true. As you know, this room is constantly moving around the country. We're in the latest. I almost said Boeing. But I actually fired Boeing. I said, Boeing, you're not good anymore. I've seen the doors pop off your planes. So instead, what I went with was Lockheed Martin. I said, you guys are making some great military planes. Oh, wait, they're Boeing too. Never mind. Lockheed Martin fired. I'm just going to say NASA. We're in a NASA spacecraft right now, orbiting the United States only. We're in a synchronous orbit, just circling the United States. So we're technically in U.S. airspace above the states. Right now.
We have to solve the problem that we have right now. That's old news. And the problem that we have right now
what is it?
We have a nation in decline, and they have put it into decline. We have a nation that is dying, David.
Mr.
I don't know how many more times I can teach you this lesson, old man. Our nation isn't dying. Our nation has massive problems. What I've heard tonight is that Kamala Harris wants to fix them. Donald Trump wants to put them on the Democrats. And that is it. So you have one side that wants to step up and take responsibility, and you have one side that wants to keep kicking the can down the road and blaming Democrats for everything that's wrong with this country. Got it. NASA spacecraft and you threw your dad out the airlock. Look, technically, on a technicality, he stepped out of his own accord. I did offer to have him join in on the stream, but he said no.
Mr. President, thank you. Vice President Harris, you heard the president there tonight. He said he didn't say that he lost by whiskers. So he still believes he did not lose the election that was won by President Biden and yourself. But I do want to ask you about something that's come up in the last couple of days. This was a post from President Trump about this upcoming election just weeks away. He said, when I win, those people who cheated, and then he lists donors, voters, election officials, he says will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences. One of your campaign's top lawyers responded saying, we won't let Donald Trump intimidate us. We won't let him suppress the vote. Is that what you believe he's trying to do here?
Donald Trump was fired by...
So is she about to say he got fired by... Because that... I mean, that is kind of cooking, I guess. Turning the you're fired back onto Donald Trump. Like, he's not... Dude, he's not there right now, actually. You can't convince me that he's listening to anything that she's saying. He is like zanned out right now. Holy shit! Look at him, man. He's half asleep. That's a crazy frame to pause on right there. Anyways, anyways, I don't think Trump is trying to suppress the vote right now. I think it's more that he wants to rile up his fan base and say that he's gonna go after everyone the same way he did in 2016, where he said he was gonna drain the swamp, and then he did absolutely nothing of the sort. Like, he had 4 years of presidency to throw people in jail, to stop people from being, corrupt in politics. But it's like even the Republicans, Democrats alike were still being corrupt. Again, you have people doing insider trading in the government while Donald Trump is in office. Perfect example of people that he could have gone after and like made a name for himself as like a no nonsense, like, for justice president, and instead he did nothing to remedy those issues in his presidency. Oh no. Isn't there a Mussolini in Italian politics right now? Isn't she the PM? His granddaughter? Am I wrong about that? I think I could have sworn that she's either in politics or she's like actually the prime minister. Which is insane if it's true, but if it's not, then I plead the fifth.
By 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. But we cannot afford to have a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you that I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States, and world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom worked with you, and they say you're a disgrace.
I don't like this part. I don't like this part because, again, it's stooping down to Trump's level, and that's not what she needs to do. I feel like I'm just repeating the same things over and over again. Like, I'll be like, yes, Kamala Harris, you're making some very good points. And then Donald Trump will attack her and call her a commie and say that she's what's wrong with America and she's leading America down the wrong path. And then she'll say, actually, I talked to all your friends and they actually said that they all hate you behind your back and that you're not even that good at playing the trumpet and you're actually pretty bad at it. And then he goes, actually, all my friends actually said that I'm really good at trumpet and that you're actually really bad at it. That's like, it feels like we're talking about like middle school issues right now, right? It doesn't feel like we're at a presidential debate at these points. And that's what's kind of losing me right now. I'm losing interest watching.
And when you then talk in this way in a presidential debate and deny what over and over again are court cases you have lost because you did in fact lose that election, it leads one to believe that perhaps we do not have in the candidate to my right the temperament or the ability to not be confused about fact. That's
Okay.
deeply troubling, and the American people deserve better.
I'll give you 1 minute to respond, Mr. President.
Let me just say about world leaders. Viktor Orban, one of the
Wait. What is he about to say, Viktor Orban?
most respected men. They call him a strong man.
He's a dictator. He's a dictator. No. This is not the owner you think it is, Trump. Trump, don't do it. I feel like I'm in a time machine and I'm yelling at him. I'm actually, dude, I'm in Interstellar right now and I'm Matthew McConaughey beating on the bookcase. Trump, don't talk about dictators. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
He's a tough person, smart. Prime Minister of Hungary. They said, why is the whole world blowing up? 3 years ago it wasn't. Why is it blowing up? He said, because you need Trump back as president. They were afraid of him. China was afraid.
Dude, this is not the own you think it is, man. It'd be one thing if he came out. Who could he say? Who could he say would be like a good person? I love Hungary. Dude, I'm hungry. Whoa. I struggle to think of someone that he could say that would like make sense. I mean, like it. I guess Macron, even though Macron has his whole own issues. Again, I'm not that tapped into French politics, but I do know that the French people were not happy with Macron at one point. But it would be different if like Macron and fucking I don't know, whoever the prime minister of the fucking Netherlands is, if they came out and were like, actually, you know what, the world probably needs Trump in office, then you would be like, damn, those places are pretty legit, and you know, maybe we gotta. But you're talking about Viktor Orban, Vladimir Putin's like best friend, man. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now.
And I don't like to use the word afraid, but I'm just quoting him. China was afraid of him. North Korea was afraid of him.
He doesn't like to use that word because he does use that a lot.
North Korea, by the way. He said Russia was afraid of him. I ended the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and Biden put it back on day one, but he ended the XL pipeline. The XL pipeline in our country, he ended that. But he let the Russians build a pipeline going all over Europe and heading into Germany, the biggest pipeline in the world. Look, Viktor Orban.
Man, this is rough.
He said the most respected, most feared person is Donald Trump. We had no problems when Trump was...
He's actually wrong. The most feared person is Freddy Fazbear. And that's where he's absolutely fucked up. Because the Five Nights at Freddy's crew is just not going to let this one slide. They've been silent this whole time, but I know right now they're cooking up all these edits. They're cooking up fan cams of Freddy Fazbear, and that's what's going to lose Donald Trump this election.
President, but when this weak, pathetic man that you saw at a debate just a few months ago, that if he weren't in that debate, he'd be running instead of her. She got no votes. He got 14 million votes. What you did, you talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret.
Who was he talking about?
He can't stand her. But
Mr.
he
President.
got 14 million votes. They threw him out. She got 0 votes.
Who is he talking about right now? I actually, again, this is the second point tonight where Donald Trump has been speaking, and maybe it's that I like actually zoned out because I very well could have. My brain is not like fully functioning half the time. But like, who are we talking about? Are we talking about Orban still? Or are we talking about Biden?
Votes. And when she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed. And now she's running. I don't understand it, but
Mr.
I'm
President,
okay with it
Mr.
because
President, your time is
I think
up.
we're
Thank
going to
you.
do very well.
We've got a lot more to get to.
Turning now
Yes.
to the Israel-Hamas war and the
Oh,
hostages
this is gonna be
who are
rough.
still being held. Americans.
This is actually going to be really rough for Kamala Harris. Because again, Kamala Harris does not have a good track record when it comes to Israel, Palestine. You know, it's a very touchy subject. I feel like anytime children are being bombed, that's not a good thing. I want that on the record before we talk about anything that has to do with this. But I will admit that it is a much more in-depth situation than just the surface level like Israel bad, because I know that there are a ton of Israeli civilians that are absolutely against the occupation. And again, there are, you know, Palestinians that also are committing war crimes with Hamas, but I think to equate everyone from each side as like the worst of their people is wrong. And I think that Kamala Harris, her stances more recently on Israel-Palestine have not been great.
Among them. Vice President Harris, in December, you said, quote, Israel has a right to defend itself, but you added, quote, it matters how, saying international humanitarian law must be respected.
Yeah.
Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians. You said that 9 months ago. Now an estimated 40,000 Palestinians are dead. Nearly 100 hostages remain. Just last week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said there's not a deal in the making. President Biden has not been able to break through the stalemate. How would you do it?
Well, I mean, they need to get rid of Netanyahu, number one. That dude sucks, bro. That dude actually sucks. That dude high key sucks. They just need to actually get someone new in office in Israel. And the US needs to stop sending like these fucking not 1,000 pound bombs. They're not sending Moabs, but they are sending like a large amount of very big bombs that whoops dropped on a hospital. I guess Hamas was there, like they need to actually, if an American weapon is being used and civilians are being targeted or aid workers are being targeted, the US should be taking harder approaches with Israel. Again, it's hard to say that what they exactly should be doing, because you don't want to punish Israeli civilians for the things that its military or its government are doing. But at the same time, you cannot let Israel bomb civilians with impunity. That shouldn't be allowed to happen. Unbiased. I think that's a pretty unbiased take, if I'm being completely honest. Not joking. That one I'm not joking. I don't think I'm being biased there. I think that's a pretty middle ground take.
Well, let's understand how we got here.
I don't like children dying. I feel like that's a that's pretty a pretty normal statement.
Slaughtered 1,200 Israelis. Many of them young people who were simply attending a concert.
Yep.
Women were horribly raped. And so absolutely, I said then, I say now, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Because it is also true, far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed.
Okay, she's actually doing well with this response.
What we know is that this war must end.
This is a great response.
End immediately, and the way it will end is we need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out.
That's incredible.
So we will continue to work around the clock on that.
Wait, she actually cooked with this one.
Understanding that we must chart a course for a two-state solution. And in that solution, there must be security for the Israeli people and Israel, and in equal measure for the Palestinians.
Okay.
But the one thing I will assure you always, I will always give Israel the ability to defend itself, in particular as it relates to Iran and any threat that Iran and its proxies pose to Israel. But
you know what?
We must have a two-state solution.
There'll be no hostages left. I know.
Gaza, where the Palestinians,
I mean, the fact that Israel has killed hostages is insane to me.
President Trump,
I actually, that statement right there was actually a very, very good statement. Coming out immediately out of the gate and standing on what she said before and not backing down and going, well, actually, what I really think should be happening. No, it was, Israel has a right to defend itself in terms of external threats, but they need to be able to, but they shouldn't be able to do it with impunity. Like I said, they shouldn't be able to just bomb civilians and get away with it. She didn't say exactly that, but that's basically what she means. And I think what she said was very good. I think that was like an 8 out of 10 on what she could have responded with. Probably closer to that was very good. I don't know exactly what rating I would give it, but it was high. At a minimum 8 out of 10. I'm very interested to see what Trump is going to say about this. Because if he comes out and he actually says something similar to that, I would actually give points to Trump. Not to say that it's going to help him at all at this point. I think Trump is kind of cooked. But I think it'd be very interesting to see if he actually had a good response to this.
Also Hamas, in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza.
If I were president, it would have never started.
Oh my Lord, brother. Oh my Lord, that's not the question! That's not, man! Again! Kamala Harris comes out with a banger of a statement. A banger of a statement. And then we have Trump coming out and said, if I were here, actually, school lunch would be completely free. Everyone would get double pepperoni pizza every single Friday. And it'd be completely free. No one would have ever had to have paid for school lunch before. Actually, if it becomes Kamala as president, you're gonna have to pay more for school lunch. Like, God, I feel like we're actually watching a third grader in this debate.
President, Russia would have never, ever, I know.
We're not talking about Ukraine right now, brother. This is insane to me. Am I crazy? Like, you can tell me if I'm the crazy one here for thinking that this is wild. But I feel like I'm not crazy here. I feel like this is insane that he cannot actually answer a question.
Putin very well.
Like a softball question.
He would have never, and there was no threat of it either, by the way, for 4 years, have gone into
There was,
Ukraine
dude.
and killed millions.
I don't know if he knows this, right? But Crimea was occupied. It didn't get occupied under the Trump administration. Right? That didn't happen under the Trump administration. Like, it happened under the Obama administration, but it continued to be occupied under the Trump administration. If he's as tough as he says he is, he should be saying that he got Crimea unoccupied. Like then he would have a leg to stand on. He would have a leg to stand on if he said that, and if that actually happened. If they actually got Russia out of Crimea, and then Joe Biden took office, and then Russia reinvaded Ukraine. But no, Russia had invaded Ukraine long ago, and was still in there when Trump was in office.
Millions of people, when you add it up, far worse than people.
You're crazy. You should be asleep. I know I should be. But I didn't golf today. I'm golfing on Thursday. I shouldn't want to say that in the tweet. I didn't want to be like, actually, you know.
When he went to Congress to make a very
But
important
it'll be
speech,
Thursday.
he
So
refused to be there 'cause
Thursday,
she was
I will
at
be
a
absolutely
sorority
dead.
party.
Today,
She
I'm
went to go to the
only
sorority party.
like a little tired. I'm actually
She
fine.
hates Israel. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now.
Oh
And I've
my
been pretty good
God.
at predictions, and I hope I'm wrong about that one. She hates Israel. At the same time, in her own way, she hates the Arab population because the
She hates everybody. Okay. Hang on. Can we get a tally of everybody that Kamala Harris hates according to Donald Trump? Police. She hates police. She hates Arabs. She hates Israel. I think he said she hates the American people. She hates fracking. She probably hates little Sheldon, young Sheldon, which I do too, so she's kind of based for that one. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I saw your tweet. It was very nice, by the way. Thank you. It was a good first day. It was a good first day. So, thank you, my friend.
The whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. It would have never happened. Iran was broke under Donald Trump. Now Iran has $300 billion because they took off all the sanctions that I had. Iran had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah or any of the 28 different spheres of terror. And they are spheres of terror, horrible terror. They had no money. It was a big story, and you know it. You covered it very well, actually. They had no money for terror. They were broke. Now they're a rich nation, and
This is
now
a tough
what
watch.
they're doing
Yeah.
is they're spreading that money around. Look at
I'm
what's
actually
happening
gonna
with
turn
Israel
it down to
and
talk,
Yemen. Look
just so
at
we can
what's
get through
going
what
on
Trump is
in the
saying
Middle East.
faster.
This would have never happened. I will get that.
No, you just the debate in general. No, I get what you mean. No, I'm 100% in the same mindset. This cycle is happening every single time they speak. Trump says something absolutely incoherent that is not pertaining to the questions asked at all. Then Kamala Harris, there's two options for Kamala Harris. She has two dialogue options. One, she'll actually say an incredibly based take and talk about how she actually wants to help fix the problems that are facing the everyday American in this country. Which, I have to give her credit. Every time she's done that, I've been like, damn, that's a really good statement right there. That's actually very encouraging. Or dialogue option B, which is like the evil option. She'll stoop to Trump's level and be like, actually, Donald Trump hates this thing, and Donald Trump is not good for this. And while most of the time she's actually is bringing in like legitimate things that Donald Trump has done in the past, Like she brought up Charlottesville. Um, Again, it's like you stoop to his level and you're kind of losing me at that point. I don't want to hear about all these things that we already know about Donald Trump. I want to just continue to hear how you're going to make things better in this country.
I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people. He knows that. He's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well
He looks
known
pissed.
that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is
Again,
well
she
known that
picked
he
the other
admires
dialogue option.
dictators, wants to be a dictator.
She picked the other dialogue option. And again, like the more you talk about Donald Trump, the more strength you're actually giving him. The more you're able to, like, I don't know, you're feeding into his ego, right? So if she just continues to deflect and then talk about how she's actually gonna like try and fix all these situations facing the country, it works so well. It's actually where Hillary Clinton failed in the 2016 election, because again, she fed into a lot of Donald Trump's bullshit because nobody knew how to deal with him. That's why he looked so good back then in comparison. I never voted for Donald Trump, to be honest. Like, you know me. I'm usually, I'm unbiased in this stream, right? I'm unbiased, but I've voted left a lot of the time. A lot of the time. But that's why I could understand where people were seeing Donald Trump and being like, man, he's making these career politicians look pretty bad. And it's like, yeah, they have no clue how to deal with his antics. She is like 50-50 on whether or not she's dealing with it perfectly or she's feeding into it and giving him those opportunities to get back into it, which he keeps failing at the skill checks. He's playing Dead by Daylight, and he's fixing a generator, and if he's on it with me and he's fixing the generator with me, he keeps failing the skill check and fucking up our progress. And at which point I'm yelling at him like, Trump, like, all you have to do is not miss the skill check. You don't have to hit the white. You just have to hit it in that little bar. And as long as you do that, we're fine. I'll hit all the rest of the skill checks. You're good. And he goes, I got this one. Don't worry. And then he misses and it blows up and it gets rid of your progress. And you're like, God fucking damn it, Trump. Get off the generator. And he goes, no, I can do it. Sorry. that's my Dead by Daylight comparison for the day.
On day one, according to himself, it is well known that he said of Putin that he can do whatever the hell he wants and go into Ukraine. It is well known that he said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged
Did he actually say that?
love
Because that's
letters
crazy.
with Kim Jong-un, and it is
He did do that.
absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear. They can manipulate you with flattery and favors.
I definitely
and that
do.
is why
I totally live in a
so
swing
many
state.
military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace.
I
That
hate
is why.
this. I hate this. Look, I get. Oh man. Okay. Here's the thing. I get if she was doing this out of the debate, but like in debate, it just feels so middle school to be like, I talked to your friends and they all said that you're really dumb and they don't like you. Like that, I don't like this part of the debate. I really like when she talks policy.
We understand that we have to have a president who is not consistently weak and wrong on
Vice
national
President
security,
Harris.
including the importance of upholding and respecting in highest regard our military.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
They're the ones, and she's the one that caused it, that's weak on national security by allowing every nation last month for the year, 168
Again.
different countries sending people into our country. Their crime rates are way down. Putin endorsed
This
her
is the
last
fourth
week.
time he said this
I hope
tonight.
she wins, and I think he meant it, because what he's gotten away with is absolutely incredible. It wouldn't have happened with me.
Dude, he said this is
Leaders
the
of
third
other
time he said it
countries
wouldn't have
think that
happened
they're
with
weak
me.
and incompetent, and they are. They're grossly incompetent. And I just ask one question. Why does Biden go in and kill the Keystone Pipeline and approve the single biggest deal that Russia's ever made, Nord Stream 2, the biggest.
Because wasn't Keystone going through Native American land, and that was a whole big issue? Wasn't that the reason? It wasn't because like they want to get rid of like natural resources or anything, natural gas. It was legitimately that they were going to occupy like reservation land to make the pipeline, and there was like massive protests against it. I think that was actually the reason. I could be wrong. I'm willing to admit I could be wrong there. But wasn't that it?
Pipeline anywhere in the world going to Germany and all over Europe because they're weak and they're ineffective. And Biden, by the way,
President
gets paid
Trump,
a lot of money.
Thank you. We have a lot of issues to get to.
Back with much more of this.
I like the moderators, actually. They're kind of
Debate from
funny.
The National Constitution Center right here in Philadelphia. Back in a moment.
Okay, perfect. I can actually skip. I can skip all this stuff. Nice, 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 nice.
Premieres Tuesday, September 24th.
I can skip the
9
commercials.
Central, only on PBS.
I mean, they could have done that. They very well could have. But I think they were just gonna take it and be like, "Yeah, sucks to be you guys."
Welcome back to this historic ABC
Not give them anything.
presidential debate tonight.
They weren't even gonna pay him for the land, I don't
Turn to
think.
the war in Ukraine. We're now 2.5 years into this conflict. Mr. President, it has been the position of the Biden administration that we must defend Ukraine from Russia, from Vladimir Putin, to defend their sovereignty, their democracy.
This is probably okay. So this is probably gonna be my most biased take of the night, but I do fully believe that the U.S. military should be backing Ukraine. We shouldn't be sending troops in. Obviously, I don't want U.S. troops to be sent to Ukraine, but I don't understand why we aren't sending more weapons. I think monetary additions to the Ukrainian military, I don't really understand as much when we're sending them like a ton of money. But like I don't like we have so many weapons in our arsenal. We have we actually like our stockpiles are insane. I don't know why we aren't sending more weapons. And I don't understand why that's a big like debate topic. Like should we not be helping like a country that is actually our ally defend its sovereignty? That to me confuses me. Ukraine can never defeat Russia. No, but I would hope that they're able to, at the very least, hold on to the territory that they have, and use. So they obviously they took ground in Russia. I would hope that they would be able to use some of that to maybe negotiate for Russia to leave the entirety of Ukraine. Again, in my perfect world, right? I want Ukraine to be its own sovereign nation and not have to worry about Russia attacking them. Or any country for that matter worry about Russia attacking them. And I think realistically all of NATO should be backing Ukraine. Like in terms of military. Monetarily, like I think I understand monetarily in terms of like rebuilding their society after it's been bombed to hell. That's what I would understand it for. I don't understand sending them money for like military spending if instead we can just send them the military equipment that they need. That would be my hope. I would like for like a very swift end. Russia leaves, but I know that's not going to happen. I that's the optimistic view on me.
Democracy, that it's in America's best interest to do so, arguing that if Putin wins, he may be emboldened to move even further into other countries.
I think that is
You said
absolutely
you
true.
would solve this war in 24 hours. You said so just before the break tonight. How exactly would you do that? And
I'm interested to hear this if he actually says something of substance.
To win this war.
I want the war to stop. I want to save lives that are being uselessly, people being killed by the millions. It's the millions. It's so much worse than the numbers that you're getting, which are fake numbers. Look, we're in for 250 billion or more because they don't ask Europe, which is a much bigger beneficiary to getting this thing done than we are. They're in for $150 billion less because Biden and you don't have the courage to ask Europe like I did with NATO. They paid billions.
No, I think what he actually wanted was for NATO to instead for all of NATO to instead send the weapons and military equipment, and the US wouldn't because they're not in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. Is that not what he said before? Which I think is insane. The U.S. just has an insanely large military, an insanely large that we do not need to use. Like, we're not in a war. We're not like even close to being in a war. The closest we're being to being in a war is probably number one with Russia, if they decide to actually like escalate the war and like nuke Ukraine or push into another country, then the US would be like, oh fuck, now we have to go to war. Or in Israel, if what's it called, is it the Houthis, the Houthis decide to actually launch an invasion into Israel, then the US said that they would back them. I don't believe that there's actually going to be a war that happens. A lot of Europeans know not to piss off Russia. We have ties to Russia, and we need to bring them back into the Western sphere again. Uh yeah, I think it's more nuanced than I really know how to deal with. I think there's a lot more nuance to the situation than I can personally say. I do think that Russia needs to be held accountable for attacking a sovereign nation and occupying their lands for what is it, like over a decade now in Crimea. Um, I think that needs to be addressed. But I do kind of agree. I like in an ideal world, we would love for them to just leave and they'd be like, "Look, you're in timeout. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna generally like slowly bring you back into like full trading routes and bring you into more political talks, and hopefully they would then be more receptive, and hopefully Vladimir Putin would be out of office and they would actually have fair and free elections. And but like that's the thing. They obviously do not have fair and free elections. They have a very clear dictatorship, a very clear one, despite the fact that they have elections. They're very clearly rigged. And I think that that's not great in terms of adding them into a larger society. So I think they'd have to have that stuff ironed out first before I would be fully comfortable with them coming back into the sphere again. But ideally, you'd want every country in the world, not just the European ones. We want every country to be able to be stable and willing to work together. But that's a perfect world, and we're not in a perfect world. We're just trying to make it better one day at a time, right?
Billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars.
He has
when I
not said
said,
anything of
either you
substance
pay up or we're
about
not gonna
how he would
protect you
fix the
anymore. So that's
Ukrainian
maybe
war in
one of the
24
reasons they
hours,
don't
though.
like me as much as they like weak people. But you take a look at what's happening. We're in for 250 to 275 billion. They're into 100 to 150. They should be forced to equalize. With that being said,
Our military spending outspends theirs combined. That is why we are sending so much in terms of like monetary value of military gear. That is why. It's not because, we have this innate thing to like to send them this crazy amount of money, and NATO isn't. NATO just doesn't spend as much on military as us, You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm like, dude, I'm like low key. I don't mean to say that I'm like bored of this. I just get bored of the fact that Trump just says the same things over and over and over again, and we just kind of like talk in circles. Like, and this is a new point, I guess. But yeah, the U.S. just spends an insane amount of money on the military. That's why we send more than NATO combined. It's because we have the first, second, and third largest militaries in the world. Like, that's why. Hey, thanks, man. Thank you. I think we're doing all right tonight in our first, you know, debate stream ever, right? I think we're doing all right.
I want to get the war settled. I know Zelensky very well, and I know Putin very well. I have a good relationship, and they respect your president, okay? They respect me. They don't respect Biden. How would you respect him? Why? For what reason? He hasn't even made a phone call in 2
I think the difference between Trump and Biden is that like Biden, you kind of respect, like you respect like an old dude that's just like he's still trying to go, right? He's still trying to get things done, but he's old and he doesn't know how to do things anymore, and He doesn't really know how to speak either, but you see him walking down the street and you're like, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. There's not really much else, like you don't want to hear his political takes because more than likely you'll be like, ooh, that's outdated. But you look at him and you go, you know what? You're still kicking. Good for you, man. Trump is that old dude that will come up to you and tell you his political beliefs. And you'll be like, hey, man, I don't really want to talk about this kind of stuff. And then he'll get mad at you and call you a commie and say that actually no one even really likes you anyway.
2 years to Putin. Hasn't spoken to anybody.
I don't know.
They
I don't know
even
what I'm
try
saying
and get it.
anymore.
That is a war that's dying to be settled. I will get it settled before I even become president. If I win, when I'm president-elect, and what I'll do is I'll speak to one, I'll speak to the other, I'll get them together. That war would have never happened. And in fact, when I saw Putin after I left, unfortunately left because our country has gone to hell. But after I left, when I
Dude, this is insane.
saw him building up soldiers, he did it after I left. I said, oh, he must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead, and it's only getting worse, and it could lead to World War III. Don't kid yourself, David.
No,
we're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know.
It won't.
Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
they
here,
threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know. Is he our president?
Okay, we got the Trump special. They threw him out of the campaign like a dog. Shot him down the street like a dog. It's the perfect Shane Gillis bit. Killed him like a dog. Okay, if there's one good thing that's coming from this side of the debate, it's that we're getting some classic Trump one-liners. That's funny. That's funny.
But we have a president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive.
your time is up.
Okay, wait, okay. Those two statements were pretty funny. Those two statements were pretty funny. Again, he said nothing of substance. He said nothing. That is a 0 out of 10 in terms of that answer. But at the very least, he said a couple of funny things. The thing is, 2016 Trump was like, he was just saying insane things and just kept rattling from point to point to point to point to point, because he had so much more energy, like you said, James. He had so much more energy, so he's just going to, like, I guaranteed he's off of Adderall or something. He's definitely off of Adderall now, and he's not as fast as he was, and he can't think of as many things on the spot, so he just keeps saying the same things over and over. But like right there, you got a little glimpse of why I think a lot of people in 2016 liked him. Was because he would just say things that were crazy and zany, and people were like, "Ooh, maybe that's what we need for the country." And while people like me were like, like, I don't like the career politician that we have, but I'm gonna vote for them because I don't want to roll the D&D dice and pray that I get a nat 20 and end up getting like a 1. I don't want to take that risk. There was a significant amount of people. You can't deny that in 2016 there was a significant amount of people that wanted to roll that dice. And then we got COVID. So it's like, we had probably the worst response to COVID. Want a Rosie O'Donnell reference? That honestly, it should be. If we had a bingo card, it'd be on there. I would put some money on that. Yeah, his 2016 energy, again, I wasn't a fan of Donald Trump. I voted against him. That was my first election voting, actually. I would have voted for Bernie Sanders. But again, like, Bernie Sanders didn't get the nomination. That's typical Democratic Party kind of shooting themselves in the foot with their candidate. But I still voted Democrat because I was hoping that the policies would end up being all right. And obviously they lost, so it didn't really matter. But I can see why some people, especially that weren't as in tune with politics, would be like, oh. Because even I would say it all the time. I'm like, man, if he wasn't running for president, it would like some of the stuff would be pretty funny. Some of the stuff is pretty funny. That's why you get like so many good parodies, like Shane Gillis, for example. That's why it's so funny because he does it, and it's like, yeah, I could actually picture Trump saying all of these things.
Clarifying the question, do you believe it's in the U.S. best interest for Ukraine to win this war, yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done.
All right.
Negotiate a deal, because we have to stop all of these human lives from being destroyed.
I want to take this to Vice President Harris. I want to get your thoughts on support for Ukraine in this moment, but also as Commander-in-Chief, if elected, how would you deal with Vladimir Putin, and would it be any different from what we're seeing from President Biden?
Well, first of all, it's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me. I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up. And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded, tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank, to Poland and Romania. And through the work that I and others did, we brought 50 countries together to support Ukraine in its righteous defense. And because of our support,
No threats on my computer, let's
defense, the
go!
ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams
Oh,
tanks that
man.
we have provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what
Look at this is a personal take, and again, unbiased reporting here, unbiased reporting. But if I were to have an opinion on this, I do believe that more than likely Ukraine would absolutely be left out to dry if Trump became president. Unbiased, of course. Unbiased. But I just don't see a way that Trump actually backs Ukraine. I think he again I think he just is in the pocket of Russia a little bit too much. Especially, dude, we see that Russia is in the U.S. media with everything that happened with Tenet Media. I think there's probably more than what we actually see. I would not be surprised if he's getting a little cha-ching on the side. You know what I mean? Allegedly, and of course, this is not me saying this because I'm unbiased. The most unbiased there ever has been.
what that would mean, because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president, and that we understand.
Can we get her like an
importance of
apple
the
box or
greatest
something so they can be the
military
same
alliance
height?
the world has ever known, which is NATO.
That was kind of crazy. He
And
is
what
a
we have
pretty tall
done
guy.
to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000
I do actually agree
Polish
that he
Americans
probably would try
right
and
here in Pennsylvania how quickly
take some other
you would
spots.
give up for the
I know that Putin wants to reestablish the Soviet Union, so it's like this is a very good point about the fact that I don't know about like pushing the Donald Trump stuff. I would just like her to focus on Russia's plans for the future, as well as how that would affect the U.S. economy, the U.S. people, stuff like that. I don't like how much it turns back to Donald Trump. I want her to talk about what she can do for the American people.
sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Vice President Harris, thank you. We've heard from both of you on Ukraine tonight.
That was kind of
Afghanistan came up
sexual.
in the last hour.
Do you think she meant it that way?
I wanted her to respond to something you said earlier, and I'll give you a minute here.
Putin would be sitting in Moscow, and he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men and women, but he would have been sitting in Moscow. Quiet, please. He would have been sitting in Moscow, much happier than he is right
Man,
now.
dude, this is
But eventually, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got
low key. They should just let them fight. I'll say it now. We're in the stream. We're an hour and 49 minutes, almost exactly into stream. I think they should just let them actually fight. Bare knuckle brawl live on stream right now. Cause the look that she's given him and the look that he's given her, like I feel like they would actually like get animalistic. And it'd be crazy to watch. I would want to see that.
Nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk.
I don't know who would win. See,
weapons.
he's older,
Nobody ever
but
thinks
he's a
about that.
big guy,
And
right?
eventually,
So she's got like
maybe
she's got
years of
age,
age,
and she's probably more nimble. But he's
they
just as
have
like
that.
he's like a
Something we don't
bear.
even
He's
like to talk
big.
about. Nobody likes
So
to
it'd
talk
actually
about
be
it.
like
But
actually a
just so
pretty
you
close
understand,
fight.
They sent her to negotiate peace before this war started.
Peter Mikes
3
is
days
ridiculous.
later,
It's a debate.
he
I
went in
agree.
And he started the war because everything they said was weak and stupid. They said the wrong things. That war should have
Everything he
never
said was
started.
weak
She was the
and
emissary.
stupid.
They sent her in to negotiate with Zelensky and Putin, and she did. And the war started 3 days later.
Vice
And
President?
that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country. But let me tell you something.
Now, we have some
She
pretty
is a
bad ones.
horrible negotiator. They sent her in to negotiate as soon as they left.
Yeah, I don't like to mute a
did the
mics. I think they
invasion.
should just let them yell at each other for a little bit, and then the moderators will step in.
Vice President Harris, have you ever met
Because
Vladimir
again,
Putin?
it's
Can
like
you clarify
if
that?
she just actually talks
Again, I said at the
policy,
beginning of this debate, you're
she
gonna
just
have a
like
bunch of
owns
lies
him,
from
and every time he tries to like,
And that is
she could
not
just turn and be like, "What is your
When I
policy
went to
position then?
meet with President
What are you
Zelensky,
gonna
I met with
say
him over 5
that like
times.
of substance?"
The reality is, it has been.
That's the way you
about
win the
standing
debate.
As America
Just
always
talk
should.
your shit, and when they
As a
try and interrupt you,
leader,
you just be like,
upholding
"Okay, so
international
what are you gonna
rules
do
and
then?"
norms. As a leader who shows strength, understanding that the alliances we have around the world are dependent on our ability to look out for our friends and not favor our enemies because you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy. And that is very much what is at stake here. The President of the United States is Commander in Chief, and the American people have a right to rely on a president who understands
Is the debate already
significance
over?
of America's role
I think
and
it is.
responsibility in terms of
I think it's actually
ensuring
already
that there is
over.
stability and ensuring we stand up for our principles and not sell them for the benefit of personal flattery.
I can't
We
tell.
talked about Ukraine and Vladimir Putin. I do want to talk about Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of this debate. I want to move on to Afghanistan.
Stoltenberg said Trump did the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He got these countries, the 28 countries at the time.
Sorry, I wanna just
pay
show
up.
you
He
guys.
said, "I've never seen." He's the head of NATO.
Let me just
He
swap
said,
my
"I've
my
never
cam
seen."
real quick.
For years, we were paying.
I have to show you guys
almost
something
all of
important that I
NATO.
opened.
We were being ripped off by European nations.
Hang on, I
both
gotta
on
close a
trade
couple of
and on
notifications.
NATO.
You guys
I
can
got
still
them
hear.
to pay up by saying
You
one
can
of the
still hear
statements
Trump
you made
talking.
before, if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you.
I
Otherwise,
opened
we
up
would've
Twitter,
paid
and this
up.
is the
He
first
said
thing
it
I
was
see.
one of the most
Can you imagine
incredible
ripping
jobs
20
he's
beers
ever
and
seen
driving
done.
back in
Thanks.
this
I
thing?
want to turn to Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of the debate, and we witnessed a poignant moment today.
That's what my Twitter is
How
like
the soldiers
90% of the
died
time.
in the chaotic withdrawal from
Sorry, I
Afghanistan.
felt like I had to
Asked the
interrupt the
Vice
debate to show you guys
President,
that.
do you
That's a pretty
believe you
important
bear
thing.
Any responsibility in the way that
That's
withdrawal
pretty
played out?
important.
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war. And as
I
of
can agree.
today,
I can
there is
agree.
not
It was the
one
right call to pull out,
member
but I
of
think
the
with the way they
United
did it was
States
wrong.
military who is in active duty
But
in a
also,
combat zone in any war zone
Donald
around
Trump
the world,
was the
first
one who
time
set
in
it
a
in motion.
century.
So it's like
But
he
let's
can't talk
understand
shit about
how
them
we got
pulling out of
to where we are.
Afghanistan
Donald
because it
Trump,
was
when he
literally
president,
his call to do it, and he
negotiated
set the plan up.
one of the weakest deals you
Imagine if
can
it was a
have. He called
warthog,
himself
even
the
less
deal
control.
maker. Even
Yeah,
his national
dude. Oh my
security
god.
advisor
And you're
said
just,
it was a
dude, you're
big,
just
terrible
back
deal.
wheels
And here's how it went
drifting.
down. He bypassed
But also the
Afghan
ghost,
government.
the ghost has
He
boots.
negotiated directly with a
Like
terrorist
imagine hitting a
organization
dirt
called the
patch and
Taliban.
just like
The
flying
negotiation
off the
involved
freeway in a
Taliban getting
ghost.
5,000 Taliban terrorists.
Sorry, I don't know what
released.
I'm saying,
And
bro.
Get this. No, get this.
My brain might actually be
The
fried from
president
this.
At the time, invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor.
I'm actually,
the
yeah,
importance
my
of
brain. This might have
American
actually, this
diplomacy,
might
where
have been the
we
tipping
invite
point
and
in my day,
receive
like frying my brain.
respected world leaders. And this
I'm running on like,
former
I think I ended up getting 5 hours. I slept 2 hours last night, and then I think I got another 3 hours after work. So I'm on not like not the least amount of sleep I've ever gotten, but I'm on not a lot.
To be commander-in-chief with a level of respect.
And I'm listening to two people just complain about one another, and occasionally occasionally one of them make a pretty good comment about how they're going to help the American people. I'll invite the Taliban to a bread stream. Look at, okay, if they donate, if they donate 100 subs to my Twitch,
Yeah, thank you. So, if you take
I'll go to Afghanistan. I'm kidding, by the way.
Taliban
U.S.
is
government, if you
killing
actually are watching
our
my stream, if
soldiers,
anyone
a lot of
from the
them,
U.S. government is
it's
watching, that was a joke.
And I got
That was a
involved
joke.
with the
I
Taliban
promise. I did not
because
mean
the
that.
Taliban
I
was
would
doing
never
everything
hang out with the
that's fighting
Taliban,
us within
even if they
Afghanistan.
gifted me
They don't want to
100
do that
subs.
because, they deal with the wrong people.
Maybe if they gifted me
So I got
150,
involved.
that's
And
another joke.
Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed.
Did he just,
We
hang
did have
on,
an agreement
hang
negotiated.
on, hang on. Did he just admit that he threatened to bomb the house of the leader of the Taliban, which more than likely is a war crime because he probably has like a family living there. So Trump is more than likely admitting to threatening to blow up this dude's family. Okay, all right, man. Like I'm not joking. He took that straight from Sicario. I think he actually probably watched Sicario last night and was like, I'm going to use that in the debate. We need to work on your sleep, get you match ready every day. True. Dude. Yeah, no, I just got woken up last night. It was all good though. It was all good. I woke up, I went to bed at 10, right? Or I went to bed at 10:30 and I woke up at 12:30. And then I was up until 4 and I left for work. And then I worked until 10 today. So I stayed late. So I worked 4:30 to 10. Got home, had lunch, hung out with my nephews for a little bit, went up and took like a 3-hour nap. Woke up with a migraine, went to the gym. Actually, funny story. Sorry, taking a pause from this just so I can yap a little bit. I went to the gym after my nap, and I had such a bad migraine, so I took some Excedrin, and I didn't give it long enough to kick in before I went to the gym. I didn't have any caffeine either before, so I ripped a couple of rice cakes, and then I went to the gym. I was supposed to do chest day, so I sat down on a seated chest press, which is like, I'm literally sitting like this, and like hang on. I'm going to back up so I can show you exactly what it looks like. And I'm going to try not to show you my scrotum because I'm wearing shorts with boxers underneath. So you basically, let me pull this further. You basically sit like this, handles here, and you have to use your feet to lift the weight and push it. And then you take your feet off, and then you can start going. And every time I pushed the weight, it felt like I was being stabbed in the side of my head. So I did 3 sets of that before I was like, I can't do this. So I went and did 20 minutes on a treadmill, just walking an incline. Walking a 12 incline on 3 speed for 20 something minutes. I don't know. I felt bad that I didn't do a lot in the gym, but I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, I'm happy I at least went, and I got some. I did get some cardio in, right?
By Mike Pompeo. It was a very good agreement. The
But
reason
I wish I
it
did
was
more.
good,
I
it
think
was
the lack
we
of
were
sleep
getting
caught
out.
up to
We
me
would have been
hard
out
there and
faster
gave me
than
that
them, but we
migraine.
wouldn't
And
have lost a
I should have
soldier.
waited like
We
another
wouldn't have
30
left
minutes
many
for the
Americans
Excedrin to
behind,
kick
and we
in.
wouldn't have left. We wouldn't have
And
left
then I would have been good to actually do a full
$85
workout.
billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind. And just to finish, they blew it. The agreement said you have to do this.
I did see my
and they
friend Nate
didn't
though.
do it.
Braden, I don't know if
They
you're here. I
didn't
saw
do it.
Nate at the
The
gym today.
agreement was
He's looking good, man. He has a nice
terminated by us
haircut. He was looking
because
very
they
good.
didn't do
I
what they
love
were
him.
supposed to do.
I want to move
And
on.
these people did the worst withdrawal and, in my opinion, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And by the way, that's why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they saw how incompetent she and her boss are.
President Trump, thank you. I want to move on now to race and politics in this country. Mr. President, you
Okay.
recently said of Vice President Harris, quote, "I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black." I want to ask a bigger picture question here tonight. Why do you believe it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is.
Okay. See, this is another topic that I'm like, I don't know how to talk about this one. I'm like the whitest dude. I'm like the whitest dude you could think of. I'm like, if someone said, "Hey, what does a white dude look like?" Someone would pull up a picture of me, right? So like, I don't know how to talk about I don't know how to talk about race stuff. I'm more than likely just gonna watch this part and probably only speak on if something
don't
is like
care.
really crazy,
Uh,
which this is
You make
really
a big
crazy.
deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with
Dude,
me.
I would love
But those were
to.
your words, so I'm
I don't
asking.
know. I don't know. I mean, all I can say is
I
read
need to
that
hang
she
out with
was
Gandalf and hit
not
whatever's
black,
in his pipe.
that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's up to her. That's up to her.
Vice President Harris, your thoughts on this?
Either one's okay with me.
I think honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career,
You're a nice guy.
attempted
Don't
to
reduce
use
it to your
race
skin
to
color.
divide the
No, I
American
don't think it has anything to do with my
people.
race.
I do believe that the
I
vast
just
majority of
legitimately
us
do
know
think
that
I
there's
am
so
like
much
an
more common than
insanely
separates
like
us, and we don't
pasty
want
guy.
this kind of approach that is just constantly trying
I
to
either,
divide us. And
if I go
especially
out
by
into the
race.
sun
And let's remember,
and I don't wear sunscreen, I will
Donald
be
Trump
red
said
for
it.
2
He was
weeks, and I will go right back to being
land,
like
he owned land, he owned
ghostly white.
buildings, and he was investigated because he refused to rent property to black families. Let's remember,
did
this
do
is
that.
the same individual
He did do
who
that.
took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5. Took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. This is the same individual who spread birther lies about the first black president of the United States. And I think the American people want better than that, want better than this, want someone who understands, as I do, I travel our country. We see in each other a friend. We see in each other a neighbor. We don't want a leader who is constantly trying to have Americans point their fingers at each other. I meet with people all the time who tell me, can we please just have discourse about how we're going to invest in the aspirations and the ambitions and the dreams of the American people? Knowing that regardless of people's color or the language their grandmother speaks, we all have the same dreams and aspirations and want a president who invests in those, not in hate and division.
Vice President Harris, thank you. Lindsay?
President Trump, this is now your third time.
This is the most divisive presidency in the history of our country. There's never been anything like it. They're destroying our country, and they come up with things like what she just said.
Sorry, I had to respond to a
many,
text.
many years, when a lot of people, including Mayor Bloomberg,
Had to talk
that
fantasy
meet with
football with
me
a
in the
friend.
Central Park 5, they admitted.
This question
they
seems
said
stacked
they
against
pled
Trump. Very
guilty.
balanced, ABC.
And I said, well, if they pled guilty, they badly hurt a person, killed
Yeah,
a
I can
person
agree. I can
ultimately.
agree with you that
And if they
they.
pled guilty. Then they pled, we're not guilty. But
They
this
did. They
is a
did stack
person
this one against
that
Trump.
has to stretch back years, 40, 50
I think
years ago.
to play
This
devil's
is nothing
advocate
now.
at the
I
same
built one of the
time,
greatest
Trump
economies in the history of the world,
does
and
have
I'm gonna
a
build it again. It's gonna
pretty
be
big
bigger, better, and
history of
stronger.
not
But
exactly
they're
being
destroying
the
our
most
economy. They
racially
have no idea
sensitive
what a good
person.
economy is.
Which,
Their
if
oil
you're a
policies,
normal
every single
person,
policy.
that
And
usually
remember
would
this,
not be a thing that is
she
brought
is
up.
Biden.
But he
You know,
is
she's
running
trying to
for
get away from
president, so
Biden.
it's
I
like,
don't know the gentleman, she says.
I think bringing it
She
up in
is
a debate
Biden.
is kind of
The
crazy
worst inflation we've
in
ever
terms of
had,
like the
a
moderators
horrible
doing it.
economy because
But I mean,
inflation
I don't
has
know.
made it so bad that
Again,
she can't get away with that.
Thank you. Your time is up.
yeah.
I want to respond to that, though. I want to just respond briefly. Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump.
I am interested to
And
see
what I
if they
do
bring up
offer
anything
is a
about
new
like
generation of leadership for
well,
our
I guess you know what? What
One who
was they have brought up some things
in
that were
what is
stacked against
possible, one who brings
Kamala
a sense of
Harris, and one of them
optimism
was the
about what we can do
Israel-Palestine
instead of
issue.
always disparaging the American people. I believe in what we can do to
Okay, hang on.
strengthen
I'll expand
our
on that in
small
1 second.
businesses, which is why I have a plan. Let's talk about our plans and let's compare the plans. I have a plan to give startup businesses $50,000 tax deduction, to pursue
This is a
their
great point.
ambitions, their innovation, their ideas.
This is
their
what we've
hard
been
work.
watching for.
I have a plan, $6,000 for young families for the first year of your child's life to help you in that most critical stage of your child's development. I have a plan that is about allowing people to be able to pursue what has been fleeting in terms of the American dream by offering a help with down payment of $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers.
Damn, that's
the
actually sick.
Conversation, I believe, David, that people really want tonight, as opposed to a conversation that is constantly about belittling and name-calling.
Okay. She actually, dude, she might have been stream sniping right there. She might have been stream sniping. She might have been watching the Bread Official live. Because like that's what we've been saying all night, right? We've been saying we hate the middle school bullshit where they're just making fun of each other and they're saying my friend said that you don't like this, my friend said that you're dumb, blah 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 blah. Like, oh my god, she brought up actual like talking points and she brought up her plan. Those dude, a $25,000 down payment assistance program for first-time home buyers is fucking incredible. And again, it doesn't exactly fix the problem, but it is a step in the right direction. That's what you want. You want to, again, we're never going to get perfect politicians, right? Because inherently politicians are not the greatest people for the most part. There are a couple that are all right that I would consider very good people. Not very good people, but I would consider good people because they actually want what's best for the American people. But that right there is what you want out of a politician. Someone who says, let's talk about our plans. Here are my plans. And they list out their plans. That's what you want, man. That's exactly what you fucking want. And if they allow Trump to respond to this and he gives his plans, then we have a debate. Then we have something of substance that news stations should be talking about. But instead, all we're gonna get is like each news station being like, did you see that Trump called out Kamala Harris on the Ukraine war? Oh my god, did you see Kamala Harris call Donald Trump out about being racially insensitive? It's like, those things don't matter in US politics. That's a social media debate. That's a social media problem. That's like, ooh, who's getting canceled for what? Let's talk about what matters, man. Yes. Yes! I love that. That is why we're watching this debate.
Turn the page
Vice President
and move
Harris.
forward.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I got
Let's turn to
excited.
policy.
President
Let's
Trump,
turn
we
back to
have
policy.
to move on. President Trump.
Let's turn to policy, please.
Okay, they're turning to policy. Honestly, low key, let him speak. I want to hear what he has to say.
To defund the police. She has a
No, Trump. Oh, man. Okay, I like unbiased reporting. Trump is absolutely throwing right here. This is the equivalent of saying that you're a Smurf. You're saying you're a Smurf in Valorant, but you're going 5 and 32 on Jet. And everyone on your team is, and you're baiting the whole time too, and your teammates just keep saying, Jet, can you just entry for us? You're last alive every round. You're saying, no, you guys are trash. I smurf your peak.
Plan to confiscate everybody's gun.
President Trump,
she
we
has
do
a
have
plan
to move on to
not
other
allow
issues.
Dude, oh my god. Dude, she actually cooked him. Where's this energy coming from? Fossil fuels are in that shake. Actually, Loki, I forgot to take my creatine today. I gotta go up and do that in a second. Dude, I think the energy came from the fact that that is like actually a very exciting thing for like US politics, when a politician actually has plans that they can articulate and they don't sound like dog shit, right? Because like there's so many times where like you find out about bills that are being put through Congress and they just like they're so demoralizing, right? Okay, something that got put through Congress but was a good bill that got shut down, like Jon Stewart's like helping the veterans that were affected by burn pits in the Middle East and how hard it was to get through that. Like that's a demoralizing thing in politics, because that should be a grand slam of a piece of policy, right? We should want to help veterans that went and served their country and are suffering the after effects of that. And the fact that there were politicians that didn't want to do that on both sides is very demoralizing. This is great that you have someone who not only is a politician, who there are some things that I massively disagree with her on, but she's putting out things that actually make sense. Yeah, Mitch McConnell is one of those people that, man, like there are people like him on the Democratic side, but he's one of those Republicans that will like say he's gonna back a piece of legislation, but then like he like recently, like within the past like 8 years, Trump would say that he didn't like that and he would immediately pull his support from it, and thus pulling the support of the Republican Party. There were a lot of good pieces of legislation in the US that got absolutely like shut down, like on the spot, because of stuff like that. That is the side of politics that I really, really don't like. I like when politicians have minds of their own and are willing to work with both parties. And I think that what she's saying, the things that she's saying, are policies that are so massively popular with the US public that like it's going to be hard for politicians to say no to those things.
fracking in Pennsylvania or anywhere else.
Okay.
That's
Mr.
what her
President.
plan is until just recently.
I just need
Lindsay,
to
go ahead.
respond
No,
because
Trump,
the
President
former
Trump.
president has said
No, I'm
something
sorry.
twice that I need to
No,
respond to.
I'm sorry. We're
I
gonna
just need to
move on,
respond
Vice
one
President
time
Harris.
to what he has
President
I
Trump,
hate
this
this
is
part of
now
I
your
hate this
third
part of the
time
debate.
Running for president, you have long vowed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. You have failed to accomplish that. You now say you're going to keep Obamacare, quote, unless we can do something much better. Correct. Last month you said, quote, we're working on it. So tonight, 9 years after you first started running, do
Unbiased.
you have a plan?
That's correct, Sammy.
Obamacare was lousy health care.
The most unbiased person in this debate is me.
And what I said, that if we come up with something, and we are working on things, we're going to do it and we're going to replace it. But remember this, I inherited Obamacare because Democrats wouldn't change it. They wouldn't vote for it. They were unanimous. They wouldn't vote.
I don't know what he's saying.
If they would have done that, we would have had a much better plan than Obamacare. But the Democrats came up. They wouldn't vote for it. I had a choice to make when I was president. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, never going to be great, or do I let it rot?
I love that. I love that like underhanded comment. Yeah, we should never gonna be good.
Just let it rot and let it go away. I decided, and I told my people, the top people, and they're very good people. I have a lot of good people.
Damn, brother Sammy, 2 years, man. Thank you. Holy shit. That's crazy. And hey, look at 19 minutes, brother.
Do I save it?
19 minutes until the day is here.
Or do I let it
My
rot?
goat.
And I saved it. I did the right thing. But
Holy
it's still
shit.
never going to be
4
great, and it's too
years.
expensive for
Four and
people.
a half
And
years
what
of
we will
following,
do
man.
is we're looking at different plans. If
That's
we
actually
can
fucking
come up with a plan that's going
nuts.
to cost our people, our
It is nuts.
population, less money and be better
Sammy, I hope
healthcare
you've
than
been liking. I
Obamacare,
do.
then
I
I
want
would
you guys to know. I
absolutely
also I've not been paying attention to what Trump has been saying. I don't know this stuff. Like he's not actually talking policy. That's the thing. He's not talking policy. We don't care. He's just talking about how bad Obamacare is, right? Unless he actually did say policy stuff and I missed it, in which case my bad. I'll own that. I hope you like the TikToks I sent you, Sammy. My TikTok feed has been absolutely unreal recently. Absolutely, like legendary polls coming from my For You page. I felt bad because I spammed a lot of them. Oh my god, Sammy, I've actually been. I want you to know I've not been sending you things because I'm like I've sent so many. I think Sammy might actually be concerned.
do it. But until then,
What? What? What?
Of truth here. On the other side of it, I do want to point out that every time Kamala Harris was
raped. And so on
Vice
national
President
security,
Harris.
including the importance.
All right, I guess that's all we're watching. Oh, okay, okay. Hey, look at I'm glad you both liked them. All right, brother. Hey, look at you might not know what you just signed up for actually. Because I've had some wild shit recently. Hey, look at yeah, we just lost the broadcast rights. We might have low key. Yeah, I like when I get spammed though. Dude, I love when I pull up TikTok and I see that someone sent me like 7 videos because I'm like, yes. I have something to do for the next 30 minutes. Or sometimes it's like, dude, sometimes it's like 5 minutes. You know what? I think we covered enough. Honestly, I think that was pretty good for our first time. I'm not exactly the best political commentator, but I think we did all right. I think we had some fun. I think we got some funny moments from that. I loved when she brought up all these like great points. Like, dude, the $25,000 first time home buyer assistant program is so good for the American public because there's so many young people that want to buy homes that just like physically will never be able to afford it without assistance. And I think that's so cool that they're doing something like that. And then he immediately is like, she wants to end fracking and she wants to take your guns. That was so good, man. That was so funny. Next Hassan, dude, I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Actually, go to Hassan and tell him to raid me right now. He has 89,000 viewers. I think I could use a couple of those. Dude, that would be amazing. Yeah, that would be an incredible policy to do. Especially, dude, if she does that like day one, if she wins, like she instantly is getting reelected. Like that's her next. She can run her entire next election off the fact that she actually implemented a policy that helped the American people. I feel like we haven't gotten anything like that in like 15 years now. First 100 days are most important. Yeah, they really are. They are. But then again, like, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to see. It's tough to tell what exactly is going to happen. I really do think that Trump is just going to lose. Because again, he actually has nothing that he's running on other than the fact that literally everything he said was actually Kamala Harris hates every American person and she's letting criminals come into the country from every other country in the world and it's making their crime statistics go down. That was That was actually something that he said in that debate. He said they're coming from every other country in the world, and their crime rates in every other country is going down. And James over on YouTube was fact checking him live, saying, "Yeah, there's definitely less crime here, man." Like, bro, come on, man. Oh, brother, you know. Yeah, I think he's gonna lose. I'm glad we're in the same boat, though. You know what? I'm pretty happy with the way that went. Because again, all I wanted to do, my only goal for watching that was just to hear that somebody has a plan, right? As long as somebody has a plan to do something with this country, great. Like so I have one job. I'm starting a second one next month, and then I also potentially will have a third job once I finish my classes. So it's like, yes, I'll be happy to be making a decent amount of money, but I don't want to have to work 3 jobs for my entire life, you know? I'm hoping that we can get to a point in our country where, you know, things aren't as fucked as they are. Rent prices aren't as crazy as they are. Home prices aren't as crazy as they are. Food prices. Dude, I spend like $100 at the grocery store a week. Not a week, probably every week and a half, 2 weeks. That was fun. Get some sleep, my friend. Some quality sleep. Don't go burning out on us. Good night. James, have a wonderful night, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging out, man. This is a lot of fun. Groceries are insane. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what grocery prices are now. So I love the fact that Kamala Harris came out with actual, you know, like actual policy plans. I like the fact that Trump said some funny things and we were able to like kind of farm some clips out of that. I'll probably be going through the stream and trying to get some TikToks made. I don't know yet. I might even make a full-blown video from that. But that'll actually be kind of like a hard one to do. So we're gonna see. But I think I am gonna end. I think I am probably gonna end and maybe honestly maybe do some editing tonight. If I don't do some editing, I'm going to bed right now. I gotta figure it out. Yeah, I think Trump would beat Kamala in golf. I would agree with you on that. Sammy, actually, low-key, I meant to talk to you about this. I fixed my drive, by the way. I fixed my drive, and I'm absolutely crushing the ball right now. So you know, hey, golf stream soon, potentially. If I can figure out how to live stream on the go, I actually do want to do a golf stream. Good night, Braden. What did I change? Okay, so number one for my swing, we're just gonna do this on stream. I don't care at this point. So what I was doing was when I was swinging, I would turn the club in my hand, but I wasn't changing the way I was actually holding the club. So when I was swinging, the club was actually, I was turning my wrists as I swung, opening the club face out, and that's why I was slicing. So what I did was, as I turned the club, I'm also turning my hands this way in anticipation of hitting the ball like this. So now, when I'm swinging through, I'm actually now hitting the ball dead on, because I think I just have a weird swing. So until I actually like full on fix my swing, that's what I have to do. Bro, I go with my dad to the driving range, and he goes on his phone. You changed the same thing? Dude, that's okay. Yes. Yep. So I do the opposite. I flick my wrists away from the ball. I flick it away, and that's what I changed anyway. So my wrists are a little bit behind, I think. So I'm still kind of like baseball swinging a little bit, I guess. But So I'm at the driving range with my dad, and I do one, and I slice it, and I'm like, damn. And I literally do what I just said. I twist the club, but then I'm like, I twist my wrists as I do it, and I get the ball on, and I literally go like this. My dad's still on his phone, and I smack the ball. I smack it, and it, dude, I crushed it. I don't know exactly how far it went, but I was like, and I literally turned to him, and I was like, you just missed it. I just fixed my drive. And to be fair, it's not 100% yet. Like, I'm still, like, I still have a couple of issues with my swing still. Like, I have an issue with lifting my head and lifting my shoulders a little bit when I swing. So there's occasional times where I'm, like, topping the ball and, like, you know, I have those typical issues still. But I literally, like, my last couple ones, I literally just, put it right through. I saw this TikTok that said it's like a tennis forehand, and I was like, I flick my wrist when I hit one, and I smoke a 6-iron 180, which is like 20 yards further than normal. I top the fuck out of the ball. Yeah. Well, you know what it is? I focused a lot on keeping myself down, especially when I used my irons. Actually, dude, my 60 degree, I was hitting the, dude, I actually figured out my 60 degree too, because I was full swinging, but I was actually forcing my body down on the swing and forcing myself under the ball, and I was following through with it. So there's telephone wires right at the driving range, right in front of the tee boxes. Dude, they're like probably 15 to 20 yards out. Not yards, they're 15 to 20 feet out. And they're up probably about like 30 feet. I was hitting the ball over the telephone wires. I was literally popping it so perfectly. So now I'm like, oh my god. When I go, so I'm going to play on Thursday in a tournament after work, which I'm gonna be late to, but I'm gonna go to this tournament, bro. And I'm just gonna try and do everything that I did. And if I do, I legitimately think I might actually play the best round of golf of my life, which I'm excited for. Yeah, that's more than likely. It never translates, bro. Well, I'm more worried about I'm gonna get out of work and be tired because I have to open. So I'll be there 4:30 to 9 on Thursday. Tournament starts at 8, so I'm getting there an hour late at least. And I'm walking right onto the course and I'm having to play. Where are you working? I'm just working at a local gym. Doing opening shifts at a local gym for a few days a week. So I started today. So I started training today. Training for the next like 2 weeks. It'll be pretty sweet. Free membership after 90 days. So, you know, it's not too bad. Work there. I plan on working there for a while. Because it's like, I'll do personal training at the other gym in the afternoons. So open 3 days a week at this place. Potentially more if they need me. And then personal training in the afternoon. And then hopefully finish up the real estate courses and do that and make a little bit of money, you know? So that'll be cool. Get that bag, dude. That's what I'm trying. 2025, I want that to be my year, right? I want that to be my year that I get shit done. Trying to make that the thing. Been a little too stagnant. 2025 bread is different, yeah. Well, you know what it is? I also, dude, I want to get real with content. And I feel like I struggle with the editing aspect. I feel like I don't like my own editing style, and I don't know how to change it. So if I make a little bit of money, like once a month, I just pay someone to edit a video. You know what I mean? With the money that I hopefully make. Because I think doing like once a week would be too expensive. Do once a month, have someone edit a video. At the very least, putting out a little bit more content, right? Pay what, like couple hundred bucks a month for a video. More content means more views. Exactly. More views. Means bigger. True. And all, yeah, look at the thing is, more views means more likely that like the right person sees. And maybe I make a video and like, you know, like Hassan Piker watches it on stream. To his 80, he has 83,000 viewers right now. 83,000 people watch that video and they go, wait a minute, I like this guy's videos, I'm gonna go watch more. That's the idea, right? That's also why I probably should edit tonight. Dude, I actually, Sammy, I want to go back and stream from the Tarkov session that we had the other day. And get the clip of me tapping you in the back of the head. I think I should go do that. I gotta do that tonight. Cause bro, I think I kill you, and then I think you just go, oh, I'm dead, and I just look at the camera. Remember at Fortress? You went in and fought a guy, and you might have killed him, but he had a teammate. So you ran outside and you were super hurt, and you had a scav backpack on. So you ran outside and I didn't know it was you, so I just tapped you. Yeah, and you were like, oh dude, I think a scav killed me. And I was like, yeah, man, that's tough. And you're just like, wait a minute. Yeah, I think I gotta go and try and clip that. You know, let's pull it up right now. Also, I'm gonna open up Tarkov because I don't know what I have going on here. Video producer, clips. Oh, I can't go to clips actually. Okay, which one was it? Probably this one, right? The first one. Oh no, it's the next one. That's this one. Oh. Oh, was it this guy? Hold my keck. Why do I remember him? Oh. That one was fucked. I didn't even see him there, man. Was it this? Okay, we're in a party now in this. Okay, no, you died to Partisan right there. It was the raid before. It was the raid before that one. Oh, it's this one right here. Yeah, look at me just being a rat and looting. I think you're in the process of fighting them right now too. Okay, you're already dead. Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can get the. Oh, this is 1080p. This looks like trash on YouTube, man. You good?
I am so flippin' hurt. I'm dead.
Dude.
Ticket to the stash bar.
I'm dumping your gear right now. Yeah, that's where a scav starts fucking me up, bro. My camera blocking? No! Okay, hang on. Hold up. Where is this? Oh, Tarkov. Tarkov is currently blocking. Where is this? Alright, fuck it, let me just drag that over here. Dude, the quality is so bad on Twitch. The bitrate is terrible.
I'm dead.
Am I wearing the same exact outfit? I think I am.
Sammy is in the black screen. I got a one-way ticket to the stash
I'm dumping your gear right now. Yeah, I start getting absolutely destroyed by a scav, right? Scav starts owning me. I dump your stuff. I dump your gun right there, and I'm like, oh my god, where am I being shot from? Oh no, actually, a scav is shooting me.
Oh my god, brother.
Literally getting destroyed. Also, Sammy, happy birthday, brother! Happy 9/11, man!
Fucking Raider. What is happening?
Yeah, I get fucking railed by a scav. Then the player that you were fighting originally. Oh my god, dude, we got a fucking another view botter.
I'm actually so bad. How challenging.
Hey, I won't lie. Of course, man. Hey, I hope you have a wonderful birthday, man. I hope you and your friend have a wonderful time celebrating. I hope you guys go have a fun time. You eat some good food, and then I die to ditch your rig right there.
I'm dead. Dude, come on, dude. Oh my god, bro.
Oh, not the same outfit, by the way. Not the same outfit. I do want to get that clip though, where I shoot you and you go, "I'm dead," and I go, "Oh." I think that's my favorite part of that. So I just go, actually a very banger clip, yeah. So dude, I'm gonna go and clip that and edit it after this. But dude, I thought you were fighting the scab, and I thought you were the scab that ran out, and I was just like, as soon as you said I'm dead, it was like literally that noise that I made was my actual heart sinking into my stomach, bro. Sammy, you wanna also before I go, because I did just want to hang out until it was officially 9/11. My money's not looking good, Sammy. My money's not looking good. But that's because I bought this. Bro, I literally, so the other day I was just like, man, I really want to just go farm shoreline. I really do. And I was like, I had like 16 mil stash worth, but I actually had like 200k rubles. So I just went through and sold as much stuff as I could. Like, this was full before. This was full. And I just sold everything out of it. And I was like, all right, I have 4 mil. I go and I look. And they're up. So they were, I bought mine for like 3.1. So, if you need to go shoreline, holler at your boy. I'm down for it. But I'm gonna go to bed. I'm fucking. Actually, no. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna clip that, and I'm gonna edit it and get it ready for tomorrow. And maybe, possibly, start editing what we just did. I'm grinding stats homework right now. Bored as fuck. That sounds horrible. I won't lie. Yeah. I don't blame you. Stats suck. Although from what I heard in my school, stats was great because the teacher just kind of let you walk out of the classroom whenever you wanted. Test tomorrow, or I guess today. Oh, yeah, but you don't have to be in for school until like what, like 11 or something like that. Are you out? Are you out of school by 11 now? You wake up at 11? Holy shit, brother. That's fucking crazy. Damn. Damn. Well, brother, if you want to do some gaming, if you're gonna be home tomorrow, let me know. But I'll totally get it if you got plans tomorrow. Yeah, just let me know. Or today, I guess you're right. Today, if you want to do some gaming today, let me know. Yeah, I'm gonna go get this stuff done and then go to bed. And hopefully be up early tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out, dude. James, thank you on YouTube. Appreciate you, my friend. Hey, if I don't talk to you, Sammy, have a wonderful birthday. And yeah. Thanks again for watching over on TikTok. You know what? Actually, low-key, our TikTok stream got suppressed hardcore because I put a debate watch party, and I have an advisory to learn more about U.S. elections, which sucks.